Hey, howdy ho, it's time for the show.
Time for the show. And there's two of us.
There's
Everybody
two of
else
us.
is everybody else is drunk because it's St. Patrick's Day. They couldn't make it today.
I guess. Well, at least you got green behind you. I don't even have any green. But yeah, so here we are back to the Off-Grid and Poe show. But Mike couldn't be here today because his boy is playing like a piano recital or something.
Right.
He sent that picture. He's up there on the stage, grand piano, looking all professional.
Right.
Pretty good deal. And I'm not sure what Greg's up to. I'm thinking he might pop in. But who knows? You might just be stuck with me and Poe once again. I mean, I could put this comment up that Kelly said. Maybe we forgot to push the live button. One time we do that. Maybe it's just that me and Poe were having a good time talking and we didn't need y'all.
We had our own show going.
Well, I would say that, but Livewire's here, so we do. I mean, if it was just Derek and Kelly, we could just hang out the two of us. But so, what you been up to, Poe?
Been sitting around, smashing my laptop,
Nice.
hitting the power on it and saying, please work this time. And it says, no, I'm not working this time.
Yeah. It sounded like it's getting worse, huh?
It's getting worse. Hey, I gained subs since I haven't done any videos. How about that crap?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I've been kind of following. That's one of the things Poe and I were talking about beforehand. Is his trials and tribulations trying to get his laptop going, because you had plans for today, right? And you were unable to complete those plans due to laptop issues.
Yeah, a couple years ago, did we all take turns playing that Leprechaun game? Pot of Gold, Leprechaun, it goes by a couple different names.
Right, yeah.
And I think we played that for our own little challenge there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I actually played that on my Pandora's box. And back then, that's when I was shooting everything with my phone on a tripod and off of my TV and did it that way. And somebody put that on the PAX R Us this past fall. So I put it on my arcade just waiting for St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be ready. When St. Patrick's Day weekend comes, I'll have a video on that. Or maybe once the challenge started, I thought maybe I would do a challenge on that, and then the laptop. Well, it's been messing up for probably a little over a month, but I've been lucky where it would start working again, and finally it said, no, I'm done. So
right.
Didn't do any Leprechaun.
Dang. Yeah. See, I didn't think that far ahead with the weekly challenge thing. I didn't even, matter of fact, I didn't even think about today being St. Patrick's Day until I got to work and one of the ladies was checking out and she said, hey, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And I said something and I looked down and Kelly always, she'll go in and she'll pick out whatever shirt I'm going to wear and she hangs it in the house. And so I get up and start getting dressed and I just grab whatever's hanging on the hook. And it happened to be a green shirt. So I'm like, oh, well, the guy dressed the part. I had no clue it was even St. Patrick's Day today. I don't really pay much attention, which you think I would because, my birthday's right around the corner. So it's always close by to St. Patrick's Day. But Kelly also missed the mark because on our way out the house today, we forgot to bring our lunch. So I said, just go grab me one of those double quarter pounder with cheese. And did she pick up the Shamrock Shakes? Oh, no. She forgot. She got back with the food. She's like, I didn't even get Shamrock Shakes. And it's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, and she said that the green shirt she picked for me was a total coincidence, too. She didn't even think about it. She just grabbed it. And I happened to wear green today. So
if I had gone to visit my parents, it would have been traditional, corned beef and cabbage type of day at there. That's always, because it's an Irish family, so we always have that kind of stuff there. But at our house, it was just rigatoni and Brussels sprouts. There's your green. So we didn't really do any But I did watch The Quiet Man with John Wayne. That's always been a tradition for me. I've watched that from the time I was a wee lad. I always liked that.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. We did our normal Sunday cheat day pizza night. So we always stop by and pick up pizza on the way home from work on Sundays. So
nice.
Today was no different. But anyway, so let's see. Should we talk about the challenges? I'll have to.
Yeah, I have the cartridge here for Mike's challenge because I knew he wouldn't be here, so I brought the little visual aid here. And look at there. There's a leprechaun.
Look at this guy.
Hey, and Bigori to you, you giant monster, you. Biggest man I've ever seen. Yeah.
How's it going, Greg?
I'm good. I'm running late and got to leave early, but I got down here as quick as I could. I was preparing a meal for everybody on the barbecue, and it took longer than I thought. But I got a good chicken out of it, so I'm done.
Yeah,
nice.
Excellent. That's good deal. Priorities.
That's right.
Yeah, of course. I do got to say, Kelly was also calling Mike out a little bit on the ride home from work. I told her because we knew in the chat that Mike wasn't going to be able to be here, and Kelly just threw out there. She's like, "Why doesn't he just bring his phone and go live from the piano recital like you did from the Cardinals game?"
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not dedicated like I am.
That's right.
He's not dedicated, but yeah, it made me laugh. But, anywho, so Greg, you picked the big Galaga this week. We were just fixing to talk about the results of the challenge.
Cool.
And once again, Mr. Decong 52.
Yeah.
Well, Mike snuck by him for a minute there, but then he came back with a vengeance. Slammed down 112,000 point game on Galaga. That is some stuff.
Yeah.
There. So he ended up winning that. Mike was in second with 92,800, and then Poe Style Jr. posted at 83.4 last night. Was that last night or the night before?
Yeah, last night he played.
Yeah, and then Retro Bliss had a good game, 76.7. Livewire, who's in the chat, he got 72,490. Then I was in there at 64,160. Poe snuck in a game and topped you, Greg. He snuck in with a 55,170 at the last minute.
Cheater.
Then Greg's 52,640. Mike's boy Jaden had 23.9. And then Derek, once again, the foundation that we all build upon at the bottom of 22,370.
Yes.
And Nerds at Night TV.
I got to tell you the truth. Last night I was laying in bed, and I thought, man, tomorrow I'm going to have to get on there and give it one more try at Galaga. I thought, man, I got to do that. And then all of a sudden I rolled over and I'm retired, so I don't pay attention to what day of the week it is. I rolled over and I put a little display thing, my little alarm clock, and it said Saturday. I said, holy crap, I can't play tomorrow. And I was too tired to come back down here and try it again. But if I'd have just realized that, I'd have made it a point to come down here yesterday and give it one more go. But, but I said, oh, what the heck, I beat Poe anyway. And now I find out, came up and got me. But I got Derek. That's all that matters. I got Derek. That's what I need.
Yeah. Well, when the high scores were only in the 70s, I thought, well, I got that 65. I'll come. I couldn't beat my 65. I probably played another 10 games, and I couldn't beat that 65. And it started to get. I think Mike was talking in our chat. When you get to that point where you're getting angry more than you're having fun, it's time to back away. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying a little too hard, and which is probably why I was not doing well, because I was getting frustrated instead of just relaxing. But it's all fun. It's all good. But
I don't want to take away from the what you're talking about the challenge, but I just got to ask. I got to ask Poe this specifically. I'm having one of those things with a game right now. I have reached a level that I cannot beat, and it's like beating that. You get that high score, and then right off the bat, and then you try to play again, and you get another one. But this is Mario versus Donkey Kong, and it's I forget which. I think it's level 7, where when you're in the boss mode, when you're trying to defeat Donkey Kong, you got the little bombs and the little wheels, the belts that are going opposite.
Oh, yeah.
He changes them by hitting it and throws those bombs at you. Got down to where he's had 1 life left and I've had 2, and I thought, I got this. I cannot beat that level. Seems like the hardest one on there.
That's a pain in the butt. Yeah, it's a tough one. I was lucky enough because I played that whole thing co-op with my son, which they do ramp it up. They make it tougher if you're playing 2-player.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like if one of us couldn't get something, the other one would. So we would make, most of the time he was making up for me being terrible. But sometimes I would make up for something he would mess up. Sometimes.
Right. So anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of where we were at, but I just wanted to ask Poe if he found that as hard as I did, because it's just driving me insane. And I think the more I play it, the worse I get. Yeah,
there were a few different levels on there where, and a lot of times we didn't play till later at night because he doesn't get off work until almost 10 o'clock most of the time. So we would get to a level like that, try it a few times, and then we'd be like, okay, time out. We'll try again tomorrow. Just step away from it for a little bit.
Right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, sometimes that makes all the difference in a game. Just stepping away. Yeah. You'll try it 100 times, and you just you walk away, come back, and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, I did that the first few times with Galaga. I playing it, and I'm getting like 8,000. I'm like, how are these guys doing this? I'm done, And then you come back the next time, and it's like, okay, it's 20,000 now, So you just step away and come back later.
Yeah,
that does happen sometimes.
Now, when I did Galaga, of course, I shot a video of that, and put it on my channel. But because, like I said, if you can't see the whole thing, it didn't happen. But anyway, I'll tell you what, I had a whole bunch of footage of that, and that was the best score. And that was a case of where I did progressively get better. First time in quite a while, I progressively got better. So I was happy. Nice. I kept sticking out because I had terrible score first. Yeah. Probably about like Derek's. Real bad.
Yeah. Wow, that is bad. Hey, and I didn't want to. I'm not bringing it. Honestly, Greg, I'm not bringing this up for ego reason. Do you know what my high score is on your bar top? Because I don't remember what I had on that. Compared to what I got here.
Betty's gonna make nacho. Man, here, let me turn it on. I'll turn it on, and it's warming up. And before I leave tonight, we will have the answer.
Derek, what are you wowing? You knew it was coming. You know the jokes are coming. Don't act surprised. If we didn't tease Derek, he'd think we didn't love him anymore. Yeah, usually switch to a different game I've been wanting to play when that happens, and then go back. Yeah, sometimes just getting distracted by something else, get your mind completely off whatever you were playing. But then, sometimes you come back to it, and it's like it just falls into place. And you're like, why was it so hard 20 minutes ago? How it's not impossible to do that. But so while Greg's waiting on that, I know, Poe, you've been wanting to get to this, the Trojan, because this doesn't happen all the time. But who's on top of this Trojan scoreboard?
Trojan Man.
Trojan Man himself, Mr. Poe style.
Woo!
Yep, 37,400. And then, see, Greg, it's much like you got snaked by Poe. Mike snuck over me. I had 28,450 sitting safely in second. And then Mike plays and gets 28,850. He beats me by 400 points. That's why I kicked him off the show. He made up this story about his boy playing piano. I just kicked him off because of that. That was just rude. So Mike was in second. I was in third. Derek's not at the bottom on this one. Derek is in fourth. Solid top 5 finish at 20,300. And Retro Bliss ended up at 15.8. Oh, and it says, wait a second, live on the spot, Retro Bliss Gaming is typing in that console tourneys Discord right now. It says Retro Bliss Gaming is typing. Let's see what he says. And let's see. Salty Army says that's why he plays like 5 or 6 different games at a time. Yeah. Bliss says, I honestly haven't had time to play this game this week with a sad emoji. It probably won't focus, but yeah, there he is. Retro Bliss Gaming live on the show without being on the show.
Okay,
So,
Bart, what was your score on Galaga this week?
I got 65,000 something. Let me see if I can find the exact number. Oops. Not in the pinball ones, I can't. 64,160. What? Oh, I can't read it.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, the way it shows on my machine is first place, high score, OGA at 66,680. I came in second at 44,840. And then my son Travis is at 41,310. So those are the top 3 scores. You're 66680.
Wow. So I did better on your bar top than I did in the tournament on my arcade by a couple thousand. Wow. Okay. Well, I skipped over this one. I don't want to let it get too far up. Yeah. So, oh, wow. Close up. Yeah. I was looking at my phone. Sorry. Anyone buy any new games on the Steam sale? I did not. I saw that Steam had some sales on some of the pinball tables, Pinball FX and FX3, but I own them all. So, but I didn't even look. I didn't even look to see what all's on. And Poe, you don't play on Steam, right? You don't.
No.
Yeah. So, Greg, did you pick up anything on the Steam sale this week?
No, I did not. The only thing I have picked up is Mario. Nintendo had for Mario Week had a sale, and I just happened to run into it in the store, and they had I bought Mario Golf Super Rush, and they had $20 off that title, and I was not willing to pay that $59 for that, but $39 seemed acceptable to me, so I did buy it. That's the only thing I've bought recently.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't even really looked. I should though. I should. Nerds Night is finally trying to beat Shadow Dancer on the Genesis. Nice. All right. Yeah. So, do we want to talk about? I did shoot a little video for this week's upcoming arcade challenge. Do we want to watch that? We could watch that. It's kind of funny at the end, and I don't want to give spoilers, but my psychic abilities in this video I think are pretty good. So let me see if I can find it. All right, here we go. Week 47 arcade challenge brought to you by the good folks at The Show. All right, here we go with this week's challenge. Donkey Kong Jr. I know we just did Donkey Kong a couple weeks ago, but Poe had mentioned, he said it's sacrilege, but man, I like Donkey Kong Jr. a lot. So we're going to go for some Donkey Kong Jr. I'm just going to play one shot here. You can see my high score on the arcade is 46,100 since I put this on here. I don't know what my all-time high score is on this game, but I'm going to see if I can't beat that. I'm not feeling confident. Look, the second place there, 17,000. I might be down there. I don't know. Classic. All right, let's do this. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed him too. Well, at least I'm consistent. Go ahead and drop that. Whoa, whoa, that was close. Thump that guy's melon. And I gotta wait for that red guy to go back down. I probably should get all the fruit and stuff, but you know, I tend to go. I look down there. I tend to go for distance in these more than points, which I got to get past that. Well, I guess I'll go for these ones first. As long as that guy doesn't come right back down, I'll be all right. Oh, I got it. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Punt. Poor little Mario. That was close. That was close. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This could be bad. Turned out okay, though. We'll get up here, get above that blue guy. Now we're talking. Well, I beat that 15 grand, huh? So I got at least second place. That's what I'm talking about right there. Okay. I was seeing if I could get two, but no dice. No dice. I was looking good for that 46,000. Probably jinxed myself. Probably won't even get 30,000 now. I have lost all my guys on this screen before. Ah. Oh, whoa, whoa. That was skill. I'm pretty sure it was skill. Woo, woo. Okay. I'm nervous here. Okay, okay. I think I'm safe right here. Okay, I got this. Oh, that was good. No! Oh, that was so stupid. I was chicken. I was too chicken. I went for it. I went for it. Got it. No guts, no glory, right? Okay, I'm scared. I'm scared. Ah, I should have went down, you jackhole. Man, I am going through dudes. I'm going through monkeys here. Probably should have waited. Definitely should have waited. No! My gosh. Oh, I think I can get above him. That was crazy. That was probably stupid. Oh no! Oh no! I thought I was high enough. 33-2. All right, there you go. 33-2. That's going to be my that's going to be my submission as of now. I will definitely be playing this again, but 33,200. Get you in some Donkey Kong Jr. this week. It'll end Saturday night around midnight, whatever your time is. I don't care. But Saturday, get them scores on Saturday so we can total everything up on Sunday. Thanks for watching, and let's get back to the show. Peace.
Good play, actually. Better than I can do on that game.
Yeah. How about that calling it, though? Yeah, watch. I won't even. I did beat 30,000, but I've lost all my guys on this screen before. The killer is I was this close. Man! Close with the very first attempt. If I would have just went, if I'd have grown a pair, I'd have had it. But no, I tried to chicken out. Oh my god!
Man, there's so much going on that screen. It's just like holy crap, you know?
Yeah, and that screen, it's on Donkey Kong Jr. It's kind of like when you're on Donkey Kong, and it's the elevator screen. And once you get to a certain point, that elevator screen is the impossible. And if you can make it past it, then you're just go through the other screens trying to get back to. But this one is the chains because that thing gets hard quickly. I mean,
they're coming down, they're going up, they're coming this way. They're
birds. You can't go to the bottom and be safe because the birds will go too low. Like, gee, birds. Just that was a lot. That was hilarious though. But yeah, so we'll do some Donkey Kong Jr. and Chaos. This is the arcade challenge. This is not the console challenge. But yeah, so we'll play some Junior. I know, like I said in the video, we just did Donkey Kong a couple weeks ago, but man, when you mentioned it, Poe, and you're like, Junior's such a fun game too, and I'm like, yeah, let's play some Donkey Kong Jr. So yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we'll go for some Donkey Kong Jr. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up because I skipped a bunch of the chats. Let's see. Livewire picked up Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Freaking hard.
Yeah, very hard game.
But it plays well on the Steam Deck. So there's that. Let's see. Chaos had asked if it was the arcade version. He said he thought it looked like the arcade. Yep. Let's see. Chaos asked, why did the chicken cross the road? While Polo guessed to embrace the chaos, he said, no, it's to get the arcade. Let's see. Yeah, off-grid wasn't high. I wasn't high enough. I was too low on a couple of those. Let's see. All right. I love your purple shirt. Very stylish.
I see what Polo asked if we're planning a pinball challenge this week. You know, it's one of the advantages of being in the arcade room. I can fire up that pinball machine right now and start one if anybody's interested. Got enough just for giggles.
You can.
Let me fire it up.
Yeah, we did do a what was it? Ghost Rider, and Retro Bliss Gaming actually started it on his Xbox, and then I started one on the Switch. So people that don't have the ability to get on that, I didn't even check the scores on my Switch one. So I don't know if Bliss is. I think Bliss has ended already. So yeah. Chaos, he's wrestling with he'll have the arcade version when we're doing the console, and then he has the console version when we're doing the arcade. That is a challenge. That can be a challenge. But so is Mike going to do that? Was he going to do one, or is he going to do that next week? Poe, what did we decide on that?
I don't know. Are we doing that? We still doing both this week, or are we gonna start separating them?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of threw that out there today, and we can throw it to chat too. But because we've been running the arcade challenge and the console challenge at the same time, and it can be a lot to ask, and so we're thinking about switching it. So it's do one week and do the other the next week, and alternate between arcade and console. Especially if we're throwing pinball tournaments in at random also. It becomes 2 or 3 things going on at once. But I know Mike had also already picked a game for this week. So I didn't know if we were just going to run with that and then go next week with one.
Yeah, we could do that. We could go ahead and do them both this week if you want to.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because I think it was kind of already hinted at in the chat, wasn't it?
Yeah, he picked Ghosts and Goblins when we were talking to Mike. So Ghosts and Goblins for the NES, not the arcade. NES console panel. So
NES Ghosts and Goblins will be this week's challenge for consoles. And then starting next week, I don't know, we'll flip a coin leading into it and decide if we want to do arcade first or console first next week. And then we're going to start alternating instead of doing two at once. But Mike says brutal game. Yeah. If it's anything, I've never played the NES version, but I've sucked horribly at the arcade version. So I'm expecting to do about the same. And Derek's giving Livewire props for bringing up the Ghosts and Goblins on Ghosts and Goblins Day. And Chaos said, that's a game that's very addictive once you start playing, especially playing for points. It becomes a whole nother challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wait. He's talking about something different. Hold on. Sorry, Chaos. Got a game in mind for the console challenge, and the NES used to have as a kid, and he has on the Switch online NES. And I think, didn't Mike say that Ghosts and Goblins is on the Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kung Fu Heroes, he's talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what he's talking about, the game that's addictive once you start playing. So,
there's Ghosts and Goblins, but then Ghosts and Goblins will also make you want to smash your Switch or your NES or your NES Mini or whatever you're playing on.
Right. Swear off video games for life because I can't possibly play video games if I'm this bad at it. That's kind of how I leave that game. My video game career should end right now with this pathetic attempt. But does emulation count? Yeah, absolutely. Emulation counts.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as it's the NES version.
Yeah. We don't want you playing it from a different emulating I don't know what all systems Ghosts and Goblins was available on, but yeah, the NES version that's how I play. If it's not on the Switch in that little NES section, then I play on an emulator. So emulation is definitely, yeah. Chaos has so many Ghosts and Ghouls and Goblins games, he knows to know exactly what we're playing. We are playing NES Ghosts and Goblins. So
not ghouls and ghosts.
Not ghouls and ghosts.
Not super ghouls and ghosts.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the Steam sale. None of us got in on it.
Oh, sorry.
So it's all right. Livewire's been playing Ghosts and Goblins since he got on the Commodore 64.
Oh yeah, nice. And I have the little New Wave arcade cabinet of it, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Livewire, not only has he been playing it since Commodore 64, he still sucks at it. So that's good. Well, that's the beauty of our particular little. I keep putting my hand right in front of it will probably get better view ratings if I do that. But that's the beauty of our particular challenges. You can suck at a game and still come in the top 3 because we're all bad too. So
Ghosts and Goblins. I mean, that's going to be tough to get anywhere before you're dead.
Right. All right. Here's Greg. Greg, did you find something?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I know we were talking earlier about doing one. I was kind of listening while I was setting this up. And yeah, I get it because you're doing a lot of the work, Bart, with the keeping track of the scores and stuff. But I figured doing our pinball one, at least the FX3 keeps track of the scores for you, so we don't have to worry about it. And I'll take over making sure we get that posted on the Discord. But I decided I'd pick a 5-day tournament, unlimited tries, private tournament. Password is GPARKER lowercase, and it's going to be Monster Bash, and I'm going to start it right now.
Monster Bash, excellent choice.
Great table.
That is an excellent game.
Monster.
Chaos says, you want to talk about a brutal game? It's called Ghostbusters, I believe, but the real name is something I can't pronounce. Mayuki Hunter has it on his At Games Legends console. Chaos says, I'm not very good at Ghosts and Goblins, but at least I can participate. Well, if you're not very good, you'll fit right in. It'll be good. It'll be good. And Derek, woo, Monster Bash. That is a great table. I don't know if, let's see, if I make Greg big and us small, we can kind of see his score up there, huh?
I've got 2 skill shots so far.
Well, the good news is you got 2 skill shots. The bad news is that means you've already launched twice.
That's true.
It's a shame Tesla gets so much hate. Not from Poe. Poe never gives hate to Tesla. See, I love the theme of Tesla. I just can't get anything going on that table. Big Greg. 4 pinball machines lined up. I like it better when he was in the other room. We didn't have to look at his setup and feel inferior.
I lost the ball, but I got another skill shot, so I got all 3 skill shots.
Nice.
I'm up to 5,000,005. Oh.
Tesla is a stressful table. It is. You don't feel like you're getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden you just drain. Or sometimes I feel like I'm having a really good game at Tesla, and then I look at my score and get reminded that I'm not. Oh, that Ghostbusters he's talking about, you respawn right in the middle of like 10 enemies and keep dying. Nice. Yeah, see, Derek sees. Yeah, Greg just wanted to flex with his pinball table lineup to distract from his gameplay. Yeah. That is pretty impressive, though. It's neat when you go down there into this arcade. It's a really nice setup. It's really cool. He's still playing. This might be a world record for Greg. Trying to distract him as much as I can.
Don't walk into the post.
Ask Greg what that old school.
I got an extra ball.
Oh, nice.
We're at the hospital. They'll take care of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say they have surgeons that are specialized in that. Yeah. Ask Greg what that white old school ding ding pinball table is. I forget. Well, let's see. Let's see if Kelly can type it into the chat.
Yeah, I know what it is. I've never been there.
Kelly's played that table. I've played that table. That very same table I've played. Not well, but I've played it. But I want to see if Kelly remembers.
This one?
Yeah.
You don't remember me?
Uh-oh. Derek's throwing out guesses. Isn't the ding ding table Stingray? Kelly says, Kelly can't focus on anything because she can see that Stranger Things table and she's just
12,004,290.
All right.
And I got an extra ball, and I didn't do that great, but I hit skill shot on every ball. I hit a skill shot.
Excellent. So survey says the ding ding table Stingray.
Mm-hmm.
You are correct, sir. You are correct. That is a fun table. I like that Stingray table.
Does everybody know what the newer one is next to it?
Yeah,
My Little Pony.
Mike's Little Pony? What? They should. I just said what it was a few minutes ago, but
oh, you did? Okay.
If they're smart, they don't listen to me anyway, but yeah, because I said Kelly's distracted because she can see it. And yeah, Kelly does. Kelly knows exactly what that is. Stranger Wieners, Rambo style. Nice. Yeah, that's that Stranger Things. That is a fun table too.
I do like the setup now because putting the PC in here keeps. I mean, it's no fun to shoot videos in the office. You got to be in your game room with it in the back. So, again, you saw the homebrew video, then the Stingray, the Stranger Things, and then another homebrew video. One's running Popper, and one of them's running Pinball Emporium. But the other one I primarily use for Epic for Pinball FX. Now I put Pinball M on Steam so I can play Steam. I can play Pinball FX and Pinball M at the same time. I was trying to divide them up because, if you try to open two computers on the same system, it won't work.
Epic. Epic the gaming service, not the song.
Oh.
Yeah, Derek. Yeah, because it's not like you could green screen the arcade behind you in the office. But this is the real deal. This is the real deal. He's got the games right there. Yeah.
Now the one that I hardly fire up is that Legends, but I did fire it up the other day and played some. Matter of fact, I was going to try to do Galaga on it, but it does. Unlike your guys's iArcade, there's no way to hook up a way to capture on that.
Oh,
unless you have to do a mod or something.
Right.
And then the only other cool thing about down here I like to brag about is if you see that TV behind me, it's got a RetroPie and a Switch dock hooked to it, so I can play retro games on that. But then out here in front of me behind the bar is that DAX board that just scrolls pictures, but I've also got a Switch dock. I bought an extra Switch dock and hooked underneath there. So if I have a bunch of company, you can play Switch, retro games on the Pi, and then all the pinball machines. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. Eight different people can be playing something down here at one time. So it's kind of cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's smaller. But Bart. I remember when Bart and Kelly came down here. It looks bigger than what it is. When Bart came in, he says, I remember you saying, Bart, God, I thought it was bigger than this because it just looked bigger in a picture.
Yeah, on camera there, it looks more spacious than it. You got a lot of stuff put in that room. But I mean, it's not overly crowded where you can't access stuff or anything like that. It's don't get me wrong that it's not that, but it does look bigger on camera than when you get in there and you realize how much stuff is in there. And it's like, wow, it's really, to me, it's impressive though, that just so much, like you said. And yeah, Poe.
And the walls are loaded with stuff, but over here, that Oculus, Bart told me how to hang one of these, that I printed out one of those Oculus hangers, so I got that hanging on the wall over there too. So, and then the posters and the pictures, that's what I wish I had more room for, because I'm constantly finding cool stuff to decorate the room with. I got no more room.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all.
That's all.
That's all I'm done with.
You don't have to tell me twice about trying to find room to play VR. I live in a tiny house. My house isn't much bigger than your room there, and, and my arcade is smaller. I can't. If I play anything VR out here, I have to be able to stay sitting down because there's literally, that my elbow is hitting the pinball machine, and on this side, I'm right there. So.
And I got to ask you, Bart. This is another question I ask you, but I might as well ask you here on the show. As far as internet, because see, I've been experimenting with or kicking around the idea of cutting my cable, and I ran into the misfortune. I got it all set up, and I was ready, and I found out AT&T, Google Fiber is not out here, but according to their website, they have Google Fiber out here. I spent an hour on the phone with them guys telling me how great it was. And I said, you don't have to tell me how great it is. I want it. And my zip code said it had it. So I'm on the phone with this guy for an hour, and he told me the price. I said, I'm fine with it. I don't care. I don't want the cable anymore. And he, after an hour of waiting and him doing some checking, he says, well, it's just not there yet.
Oh, geez. Nice.
So he says, can I interest you in what's the other one they call when it's over the phone lines?
The DSL?
DSL. He said, can I interest you in DSL? I said, you just wasted an hour of my time telling me you had fiber out here and you don't. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm curious, because you are off grid like that, what are you using for internet down there? I think you've told me before, but I can't remember.
Yeah, we're still using Starlink. Now, my son Jason, he has AT&T fiber run to his house.
That's the one I was looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, he got AT&T fiber, and the first thing the asshole did was send me a speed test screenshot. And I'm like, that's it. If I had any money, I'm cutting you out of my will. But no, he's getting ridiculous speeds with that. And then I got to looking, and for us, it would be AT&T has a 5G, basically a hotspot thing that you can get. And if you have the home internet, the AT&T, which I'm on my son's plan. Our cell phones we all share a plan. And because he's on AT&T fiber, we get a break on our AT&T cell phones. And I could get that 5G box, and I could get internet that way, but I'm too far away from the towers. I can't pick up 5G out here at the house. So in town, when I'm right near the towers, I get some smoking speeds on my phone doing a speed test. over the 5G towers, but way out here in the desert where we're at, I'm back down to 4G, and I tried that before, and it just didn't work out as well as I would like. But yeah,
the guy told me when talking to him about fiber, AT&T fiber, he told me what the speeds were, and I checked. I Googled it to see, and they're smoking. But I'm just leery about that. AT&T offered that same thing that you did, but now Travis lives even in a better spot in the city. I'm kind of outside, and he tried T-Mobile's one where he couldn't even get his switch to run on it.
Oh, really?
Every time he tried to play an online game with me, it kicked us off.
Oh, and that was using a hotspot box?
Yeah, what they call home 5G.
Right. What the heck? Yeah. And I had that. We did, of course, we had HughesNet at one point. And anyone that has any experience with HughesNet knows it doesn't get any worse than that. You're talking like old, it felt like you're running a 14.4K baud modem back in the old days. Just super slow. And I always joke around. We got I forget what it was before they throttled you. And I'd always tell people, yeah, we lived in the throttled speed because with Kelly's porn habit, she would just run it up the first day. But really, because that was our only source, we don't have any TV or anything, so we stream everything. So, but we would get about a day and a half each month of unthrottled, and that sucked. So then when we got the 4G hotspot, it was much better than what we had with HughesNet. And then I joke again, when we're out here, the closest cell phone tower to us is at a truck stop. And in the evening time, when all the truckers stop and they jump on the Pornhub, my signal would just go to crap. But now maybe it would be better because I don't know if you saw in the news, but Pornhub is blocked in Texas right now. So maybe my cell phone signal would work better in the evening. But yeah, I would. Yeah, I would try it again because, like I said, because Jason has the fiber, I could just order the 5G router from them, and if it sucked, I could just send it back. And I think it's $30 a month since he has the fiber, and I'm paying $120 a month for Starlink. So,
see, I don't know if I can get Starlink here, and I was going to look at HughesNet, but a friend of Cheryl's that lives out where they don't even have cable and wires ran tried that HughesNet, and she said it was the worst thing ever. And finally, she actually gets her cable now through her electric company.
And really?
And it's a fiber.
Huh.
So it's kind of weird out here in the sticks. But long story short, I just don't know that I trust. I'm curious. So Starlink, though, does work good for you, though, huh? I mean,
it works okay. I am not. I'm looking to see if I could find what Jason's speed was. I want to say he got 1.2 gigabits per second on his download speed when he got onto fiber. When I first got Starlink, I was consistently, HughesNet sucks. And Kelly also said, yeah, no more Pornhub. She talks to me more often now that she can't get on the Pornhub, though. But I was consistently.
You got that wiener controller now, so that's why.
Right, that's true. I was consistently getting over 200 megabits per second, and now I don't. For about the last year, they've been throttling stuff, so it's usually right around 100 megabits per second, which isn't bad. And upload speeds, I get between 20 and 30 generally. But I don't know. We'll see what happens if they can get these starships to actually get flying and they can put the Gen 2 antennas up. It's supposed to just make our speeds go nuts, but every time they put more satellites up, they get a bunch more users anyway, and it just bottlenecks. So, but for where I'm at and what I'm doing, yeah, it's great. I'm out in the middle of the desert. No wires come onto my property. No pipes come onto my property, and I have, high-speed internet. So I can't complain. The only thing I don't like about Starlink is they group it. The reason our pay, when I started, it was $100 a month. Then it went to 110. Then it went to 120 because they say I'm in a busy sector or something, however they phrase it. Because their sectors are so big, I'm actually in with El Paso. We're in the same block or group. And it's like, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere. There's, to get to 10,000 people from me, you're going to travel about 80 miles. It's like we are out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in a high density area, but because I'm in the same group as El Paso, that's how it goes down. And it's dumb because he originally said, he being Elon, he said that this is for people like me that are out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have high-speed internet options. This gives you that option anywhere worldwide. And instantly people in all the bigger cities started getting it just because they could, which I don't get it. I get it. Like you're saying, you can't get fiber to your house. If you can get fiber, do that. Don't.
Yeah, if they had it here.
Don't do Star, and Elon Musk will say the same thing. If you can get fiber to your house, do not get Starlink because it will be a huge downgrade. But if you have bad cable or slow, if you're too far from the transfer station on DSL, Starlink might be an improvement. But if you've got decent cable, it's kind of comparable. It's not blowing anything away.
Well, see, I've got good cable, and now that I've heard what you said, then I don't feel so bad because I'm paying $145 a month for this cable, and see, I at $120 a month, that just it's because I'm old. I don't think a hamburger at McDonald's should cost you $3 either, but I mean, $120 for internet, that just sounds like, excuse my French for those that are offended, but that's just bullshit,
Yeah.
That's crazy, and I think I'm paying too much. But now, see, I wanted to cut the cable because of the TV. I bought one of those TiVo things that you hook up to your phone at one antenna, and we're getting crazy TV around here for nothing. And my cable company, what started all this? My cable company pissed me off because I looked at my bill. I never paid much attention. I'm paying $30 of that bill. I'm paying for cable. $35 a month is for local channels.
Oh, geez.
Well, I called them up. I said, hey, what is this BS? And they said, well, that's what you pay to get local channels on cable. And I said, well, then I want my cable turned off, you assholes. I said, I don't need it. I said, I got more TV than I can handle. And this thing I got, it transmits them over the Wi-Fi in your house. You only need one antenna. All your TVs pick up, and you can record. And it costs $99 at one-time fee.
Right.
And then if I want to subscribe to like Disney and get Hulu, it's like $35 a month. So there you go. And you got all this stuff. Well, so I told the cable company, turn off my cable. Well, they said, well, it's part of a package.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to raise your internet to 135 or 140, which it's right now, it's like 50 or 60 of that bill. So I said, well, and then they said if I went and got one of their cell phones, they drop it down to 80, I think. By that time I was so mad. I told them, I said, you should I've been with you for years. Why are you screwing me?
Yeah, I was going to say, did they, when they told you the new price, did they offer you some lube, a reach around, something? Because, man, they're just giving it to you.
Well, and that's the biggest complaint I got with them is that they don't even care. When you tell them you're not happy, and that's the other thing. The guy asked me on the phone. He says, do you have the latest up-to-date equipment? And I said, that's another reason I want to quit you. I've been with you guys for 16 years out here. My neighbor moves in. He's just been with you a week, and he's got the most latest up-to-date equipment. I have to ask you you should instantly send me the latest and greatest stuff. And you're asking, I said, look on my invoice and you tell me if I got the latest, greatest stuff.
Yeah. Don't you work there? Can't you pull up my account? You should know. Yeah. Mike's Gaming Gala hits it right there. Package stuff that you don't want with the stuff you do want. Yeah.
Well, actually, for those that thinking about robbing me, that saw my room, that's the other thing that's thrown in with it. I got a free alarm system. So see if I drop that. I even said, well, I want to drop that. And they said, well, you're not paying for it. I said, well, I'll swap that for the internet then. I don't care. And I got a dog. I got a Chihuahua. It's mean as shit, you know. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a mess. I mean, that's one of the reasons that of the many that why Kelly and I are doing what we're doing. You know, we just got away from everything. You know, and I'm not thrilled with the price of Starlink. They had said at one point, if you're on a not busy sector, some people's bills dropped when they went up to 110, then they dropped back down to like 90. And I thought, oh, we got to be one of those. We're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no big towns in. And then I saw the map, and it's like we're in that same grid square as El Paso. And I'm like, why do they have access to cable and DSL and probably fiber in half the city? Why are they on Starlink? But I don't know.
Well, I'm with T-Mobile with my cell phone, and I'm very happy with them. They get great coverage because when they merged with Sprint, it really got better as far as the coverage, and the price is cheap. But the biggest thing I hate about that is I'd like to walk into one of the stores and say I'll try their thing like Travis did, because maybe he was just in a crappy location. Maybe his house, even though it's in town, maybe it just sucks. But what I want to tell him is I'll change to it. I want you to give me one of those things for a week. If it works, I'll pay for that week. But if it doesn't work, I'm bringing the stuff back.
Right.
But they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I figured I could try the AT&T thing because it's part of the plan. I can do it for a month. It would cost me $30. Set the stuff up, and if it doesn't work, I just say never mind and send it back. But yeah, see, Mike says here in Canada they don't have alarms and leave everything unlocked. He's got to go open his garage door for the night. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's funny because I just every once in a while I'll tell Kelly, I'll say, did you ever think 10 years ago, because we were watching something the other day and they were talking about pinball tables. It was some documentary about pinball machines. And she's recognizing, I said, 10 years ago, do you think you'd ever recognize pinball machines? And she's like, no, she wasn't really exposed to pinball and arcade games and stuff really until we got here to Texas and I started doing all this stuff. And I'll say that too. We'll watch YouTube videos and she sees all these different arcade games and now she recognizes, hey, that's Donkey Kong, that's Galaga, and the other day it dawned on me, I'm getting right back to the point of Mike's Gaming Gala, and I'm sure you're joking a bit, especially the go open the garage door, but this is a true story. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm in Texas and that's all I got to say. You should still use caution. But I said to Kelly, so did you ever think that you would ever live in a house where you keep your door key in the door handle on the outside of the house? That's where the key is to our door. It's in the door handle because Shelby's dog has figured we have lever handles and she's figured out how to open the door and let her stuff in. So we always lock the door and then we just leave the key on the outside because she hasn't figured out how to use a key yet. So if you go outside and the dog's outside, you have to lock the door behind you or the dog will let herself in. And if you're going out into town or something, she'll leave the door open when it's cold out or hot out. So we 24/7, the key to our front door is in the door handle. So if anyone wants to come to my house, You're welcome to if you think you can make it back to the highway.
Yeah, but it's like playing Pitfall. You got to jump over the rattlesnakes to get to that front door first.
Yeah, and everybody, there's only 2 houses I can see from my house. Everybody out here, we have cameras. Anybody approaches any of the houses, we all know if a car comes on the road, we all know it. And Texas, people are armed well here. I'm just saying. and if you drive, you have to drive past my one neighbor's house to get to our house. And I've seen his gun safe. And anybody that drives past his house, he knows. And he'll text me and he'll be like, "Do you have someone? Is someone you know over to your place?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. You don't have to shoot him on his way out. That is my buddy."
Yeah, that's the same way as here in Western Pennsylvania. Everybody's like cleaning their guns and looking out their windows at night. You can see them with the light behind them.
Yeah.
That's the difference between our wives too, because I'll go up to my wife and start trying to kiss on her or rub on her or something. She'll say, "Don't you have that ping pong tournament your buddies are doing this week? You'll play your ping pong."
Yeah.
I know a guy that lives in southern Missouri, and he lives on a road. You drive off the asphalt onto the gravel, and then when you leave the gravel, you drive onto kind of like a chat type, rock type road that's just kind of, and then after that you drive down a path that you can see where the tires have always been, and it's kind of rutted out a little bit, and that's how deep he lives back in there. And I went to see him one time and I said, "You want me to lock this door behind me as we leave?" And he goes, "No." He says, "Out here, if your door's locked, they'll rob you." He says, "If your door's unlocked, they figure you're somewhere around and they're going to get shot if they try to break into your house." Nobody's going to jack with your house. If it's locked up, they figure, "Oh man, they must have gone out of town. Let's clean the place out." But he says, if your door's unlocked.
Well, and I'll tell you the other theory, and I've had this theory for a long time, which really wasn't reinforced when I was in the Navy in Jacksonville, Florida, and someone wanted back in the day, I had a radar detector mounted up on my car there, and they wanted it, so I locked my car at night, so they broke the window. So I lost my radar detector and had to replace the window. And we lived so far away out in the middle of nowhere. And it was the same when we lived in Arkansas. I told Kelly, I never locked the door there either. I didn't leave the key in the doorknob, but I left the house on. I said, we are so far away, they'll just break a window. Nobody's going to hear it. We didn't have any neighbors. The closest neighbor was about 1,000 feet on the other side of the road and kind of kitty corner. They could just go around the back of the house and break one of my windows. No one would know it, and they'd let themselves in. Same thing out here. That's what I always tell. I can see 2 other houses from our house, but we can't hear each other. If they're outside having a party and they got the music blaring, we'd have to go outside and, oh yeah, they do got music playing. So if someone came over here, threw a rock through my window, no one would know. So there's no point. There's no point in locking the door here. That's not what's making the place secure. Anyone could get in my house if they wanted to, but
in the Jeep community, if you got a soft top Jeep,
mm-hmm.
don't lock your door because they might take a couple $100 worth of something. But all they got to do is cut your top, and that costs more than $500. That's $500 top.
Yeah, my dad taught me that from a young age too. He had a '69 GTX convertible. I always tell people he bought that the year before he got me, and original owner bought it brand new, and it was a convertible. And he said, "Do not ever lock the doors in this thing." And I'm like, "Why not, Dad?" He goes, "I don't want to replace the top. They'll just slice the top, reach in, unlock the door, and steal whatever they wanted to steal anyway." So, yeah. But, yeah. Mike says, never lock my Jeep. Yeah. So,
T-Mobile is not T-Mobile. I was browsing there, and they said they'll give it to you for 15. They'll let you bring it home for 15 days free and try it.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be worth a try. My problem, like I said, when I was on that, using the internet, cell phone internet, hotspot internet, it's when it gets busy. If the tower that you're connected to gets busy, cell phones can slow way down. So yeah, that was my problem. In the middle of the day when people were working and stuff or not, I always blame the truckers. They get near that cell phone tower and they all pull up. I always joked about the porn thing, but they're probably watching YouTube or something on their phone or video chatting with their wives or whatever they're doing, eating up all the bandwidth on that tower. So if you do, make sure you test it at times when don't just turn it on and think, oh, this is great because it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Then all your neighbors get home and get on their phones and start doing stuff. And pretty soon, you get bad signal. So yeah. Yeah, we got 2 big doofus dogs, though. Yeah, they are big dogs. Someone would be brave to come in our yard if they survived the snakes. But yeah.
I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but I don't know. I saw somebody said in the comments that it's a racket, and it is a racket. It's a total racket.
Yeah. Yeah, look at Holly Polo says he doesn't even have one pinball machine anymore. And look at Greg. Look at Greg over there. That's why you don't have any, because Greg has all of them. He has all the tables. Man, I was watching it. I was talking about tables. I was trying to find, I wanted to get just a segment of this to show you guys in our chat. We were watching some show. It's about some, one of those museum things, and it's all about like serial killers and stuff like that. And they got all these things with Ed Gein and we're watching this thing and it's kind of interesting. They have all this stuff, but then they went around the corner and they had a row of like 10 or 12 pinball machines in there, and they're all horror themed. So there's the Monster Bash, there's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Man, I can't even think of them all. Just cherry, all these horror themed pinball machines. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't even care about it. I wouldn't pay to go to the museum. I just want to go play the pinball tables. But yeah, it was awesome. I can't even remember who the people were that I just stumbled across this.
Is it one of those museums in Philadelphia, I think? Something
yeah, this one was in Georgia somewhere. Savannah, I think it was. And yeah, but it was an interesting show. But boy, I perked up when he got to the pinball section. But I'm like,
yeah,
really?
That
You're
was cool.
looking at all this gothic stuff and all about serial killers, and so they got all these skulls everywhere and stuff. And you're like, okay, I get it. It's kind of cool, whatever. What pinball? Hold on, look at that! Oh my god, they got this one, they got that one. And they're just I can't even think of them now. All the ones they had, but yeah, Yeah, Kelly thought it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in Savannah. She said Louisiana or South Carolina. Those 2 states aren't real close, but it's somewhere between those 2 states.
Too humid for me, all of them. So
right, yeah, you want to go in the wintertime. You don't want to. Oh yeah, they did. They had Scared Stiff. That's enough right there. That's enough right there. But, yeah, yeah, pretty good. Pretty neat thing. But I was like, do I freeze frame it, just pause the TV and take a picture? But you wouldn't be able to see the tables. You really need to see them pan down the line of tables. But yeah, it was pretty neat, unexpected. So that was cool. But anyway, no, it's all good, Greg. That was good conversation. We talked on that thing for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Chat was involved. No harm, no foul, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to get in about 10 minutes because I just got some stuff I got to get done this evening. I wish I could always stay for the whole show, but it just seems like things have gotten crazy around here with the good weather coming.
Yeah. Has it been nice this week though, or are you having the cold spell too? That
we have had excellent weather in the 60s and 70s. Today and tomorrow are dropping into, I think, the 50s. And then I think starting starting Tuesday, we're going to jump back up in the high 60s. So we have had the only downside is everything is blooming. And we have had snow here and cold freezing temperatures in April. So now they say that that's terrible for the plants, but now one thing they say is it's unbelievable. It's March, and I left the screen door open when I was barbecuing earlier, and Cheryl complained to me that flies were getting in. Now the advantage to getting warm and getting cold is those flies start coming out of hibernation, a lot of those bugs, and if it freezes again, I've heard you've got going to have a nice summer with less bugs.
Less bugs because you kill them off. Yeah. We had like 3 or 4 days in a row. It was 80 degrees here, and then the next day it was 50 for a high, and we're creeping back up. So I think today it was around 65. So I'm not ready for the hot stuff yet. But before you go, Greg, Polo was asking, do you prefer Emporium or Popper for your VPX?
Quick answer, Emporium. And the only reason I give that is because I've had it from the beginning and I understand it better. And I feel like when Nate, the guy that started that, Nate, who was a little more, I actually had a conversation. I started with him in the beginning, and we actually had a chat conversation. We didn't talk over the phone, but just a one-on-one, and he helped me get it set up. And the guys with Popper, and I know there's thousands of people using it. They can't answer everybody's question, but it goes back to the same thing I've always said. Somebody else was talking, Derek and I think we're talking about that one day. You got that community out there that says, you'll ask a question on one of their forums and they'll go, can't you look that up yourself?
Yeah.
Yep.
You need to learn that. You need to, I'm not going to answer that. You need to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is I like Emporium. The only problem is Emporium's not being supported now. And I think Popper, you can now make Pinball FX and Pinball M run on it. I think. I don't know. And Pinball Emporium is dead as far as any updates.
Right. Poe, are you drinking a Blue Monster energy drink?
What?
Are you drinking a Blue Monster energy drink?
No energy drinks. That's bad for you. Only beer.
Nice.
On the Sunday night show. It's St. Patrick's Day, and I'm Irish, so.
There you go. Yeah, Derek, Nate was nice and very helpful back in the day, and he wasn't mean and uppity like the Popper community. Yeah.
Popper. I like jalapeno poppers.
Yeah. Popper has 10.8 VPX options now, and you can get FX and M running through it as well as Zaccaria. I don't even run a front end or anything anymore with VPX. And I think I got that idea from Ed, Digital Victory. He said he doesn't run a front end either. He just loads the table he wants to play direct. So I just created a folder that sits on my desktop for VPX, and I open it up and I just click on the icon for the table I want to play, and just do it that way because I don't have a bunch. When I did all my swapping around and took down my machine for a while and brought it back, the hard drive that had all of my pinball stuff on it got corrupted. So I had to start from scratch with VPX. So I only have like 10 tables for VPX right now. I just got the ones I really played a lot. And, I'll work on it, over time. But yeah, neither does Digital Victory. He doesn't use a front end either.
Yeah, and I think the thing that drew me to Pinball Emporium at first, of course, Popper does it too, is the fact that you had an executable that you ran, and it did it all for you, especially setting up cabinet mode and all that stuff. That's why I had the problem, and that guy with Nate, he actually got on a chat with me because I was having a terrible time getting it going. Because before I went to the trouble to build these machines, I actually laid a monitor on an extra bedroom bed, one this way, one that way, hooked up the computer, So I thought, I'm not going to build one of these if I can't make it work.
Right.
And yeah, I know if you, as long as you can run it just by clicking on the the pinball app that runs it, the program, and as long as you can get cabinet mode and everything, I mean, why the hell, you don't really need a front end. You're right, 100%.
Right. Yeah, Derek. As far as getting the back glass and pup packs, I just ran the popper install. So you go through the screen setup, told it, okay, this is the play field and this is the back glass, and then once it's all set up, you can run it direct. My biggest problem is, just like I set this thing up the same way I set up the old one. The screen's in vertical mode. I don't have the screen in sideways mode, so when I'm not playing pinball, I have to look sideways. I have it in vertical, so every table I download, I have to tell it to rotate it because it'll be sideways on my screen. So there's a pain, but once you do it once per table, it's done. And I told myself before I was going to switch it to, when I take it down and put it back up, I'm going to switch it to horizontal just so I don't have to do it. But I had 100 tables that I'd already rotated. Now I only have a few, but I've already set up Pinball M and Pinball FX and FX3 to play with the screen vertical. So I don't want to be switching it back and forth. So I'll just take 5 minutes when I download a table. That's part of the install. Go in, switch it, because they're set to rotate 270 degrees default. I set it back to 0, and then it works fine.
See, that's the problem I'm having on that other machine over there. I got Pinball Popper running, and it automatically, you leave the screen alone. As far as on Windows, you just tell it to run a landscape screen. And when you open Emporium or Popper, it turns it for you. Well, then when I open up Pinball M, before I can open up Pinball M or Pinball FX, I have to turn the screen, go into display settings and turn it to portrait mode, and then launch the program. Otherwise, because it doesn't auto rotate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And how to reset the rotation? Yeah, the way I do it. Yeah, I if I knew how to do it, I could show you just by pulling one up on the thing, but I don't know how to share a screen on that one. On that screen, I've never done that, but it's really simple. You just go into how do you share a screen? I don't even know. Am I able to?
You're right. I think I have done it before. I just can't remember those keystrokes that you got to do. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and I can't. Yeah, I can't open it right now anyway because I have this monitor in front of me as my primary. I do that.
Poe usually knows a lot about strokes. He might know how to the right keystroke.
Stroke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have to switch which monitor is the primary in Windows. If I'm playing pinball, I have to make the pinball machine the primary screen. But it's not hard. You just when you open up VPX, whichever version it is, 10.7, 10.8, whatever, you click on the little icon on the left. There's an icon on the left. You click on that looks like a pinball table. Then on the right, there's a tab that says, what does it say?
These nuts. Got him.
It says, I can't remember what it says, but you have to choose that one, and then it'll have you'll see down in there the X rotation, Y, all that, and your scaling and all that stuff. And you'll see the one that says the X rotation will be set to 270. They are all set to 270, and you just make that a 0. Then you can leave your screen vertical, and when you launch the game, it stays vertical. So we like it when it stays vertical. That's what she said. So.
Guys, I'm gonna have to check out 7:30, and I was happy to be here and see everybody. And
no, it's 8:30. You're really late. It's 8:30.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! But yeah. Anyway, it was fun. I'm glad I was able to get down here. I was a little late, but I also saw that Mike was ditching out on you, and I thought, well, dadgummit, I can't leave those other two poor
Can't
guys.
trust that guy, but he is Irish, so that's why he's not here tonight.
Mike, yeah, he's a Hawaiian Irish guy.
Right.
Her Irish.
Her Irish.
The one thing about being Irish, is if it weren't for alcohol, the Irish would rule the world.
Instead, we're forced to eat potatoes all the time.
I'm kicking myself out, guys.
All right.
If I can remember how to do that, I think I go up here and I just say adios, amigos.
All right. See you, Greg.
Good night, Greg.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Derek, if there is a global setting, oh, wow, Greg, he just flat out left, too. He's not even down in the green room. So we got at least 4 minutes before he can pull it up on his phone. So if you want to talk shit, now's the time. See you, Greg. A little late. If there is a global setting in VPX, I sure haven't found it. I wish I knew of one because I have to manually do every table. But you only do it once, and then it saves the settings per table. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. What do you think, Poe? You got my Star Wars album. You can still see that. You can't see my arcade games, but you can see my Star Wars album.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the old.
Is that the disco?
Yeah, yeah. I got that when I was a child. I probably got that album like 1978, 79.
Okay.
That, yeah. But anywho, what else we got going on, Poe?
Oh, hey, I was watching The Hobbit. I sent you guys a picture of that. Remember that
that's
old
right.
shit? Yeah, Rankin Bass, The Hobbit. That was like 77, I think it was. And I've had that DVD for like a year now. I finally sat down and watched that. I haven't watched that since it was on TV back when I was a kid. I used to love that. So, and I have all of those on DVD now. So now that I have the time off, I need to sit down and watch all of them. But
Nice. Excellent.
that's just because, my laptop is down. I probably haven't told you that yet. So I haven't been making any videos. So I've been bored out of my skull until I get that thing fixed. So that's kind of depressing for me. Need to make videos where I'm boring everybody else and not just myself. So.
Kelly says oh, look at that. Oh man, look at us now. We are filling the screen. Man, I am zoomed way the hell in now. That's scary. Man, any viewers we had, man, our viewership just dropped to nothing. Wow. But barf bag sales have increased. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. That one you sent I'll have to check that out because apparently Kelly likes it.
Well, when we were kids, we didn't have cable for years. We didn't have cable. My parents finally got cable after everybody left home but me. I was the last one left in high school, and they were kind of like, we were out of town, and there's like nobody around. My best friends, they lived on the same road as me out a little ways, and my parents were kind of like, well, his sister and brothers are gone, and he's got nothing to do. So I would take my bike to the YMCA and work out and then ride back home, and they got me cable TV. But before that, it was always you had the local CBS, NBC, and ABC, and WQED, and a couple UHF channels. So anything in the late 70s and 80s that came on, especially cartoons, we were all about it. It didn't matter what the cartoon was. If there was a special on, we were there to watch it. And The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and Return of the King from Rankin Bass, when those came on, I just remember watching those with my brothers and sisters and thinking they were the greatest. And I hadn't watched them in years and years. We didn't even have a VCR until my oldest brother went into the Navy and he bought us one. He brought that home for us for that Christmas. He's like, here's a VCR. And it's like, okay, we got 4 channels. What are we going to record with it? My parents weren't once in a blue moon, they would take us to a video store to rent something. And then my dad, once he discovered Ernest Goes to Camp, he was renting Ernest Goes to Camp and Salem's Lot was what my dad wanted to rent every time we went to the video store. So that's what we rented.
Nice.
And later, City Slickers, he thought that was hilarious too. So we didn't have many options until we finally got cable. But yeah, any cartoon special, Charlie Brown's Christmas and holiday specials, Garfield and stuff. But Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff, we always thought that was really cool. So now that I have them on DVD, like I said, I bought them last year, and when I was at work before all this started, I didn't have time to sit down and watch them. So I need to do that now. And I started with The Hobbit today. Love it. So I don't know if anybody else out there remembers those, but for me, it's all about the nostalgia watching those things.
Right. Well, you said you were the last one. You were still in high school so you were 34.
I was 34, and then I just dropped out anyway. It was too rough for me, and
yeah. Well, by then you'd
yeah,
seen
I
all
was.
the movies.
They got me cable, and then I discovered shows like the old Star Trek cartoon and stuff like that whenever they got cable and stuff. So I'm watching all that cheesy goodness and things like that. And my brothers were all pissed. They were in the military, and they came home on leave and found out I had cable. And my parents bought all new furniture after they left and stuff like that. They're like, "What the hell is this? You got cable and furniture? What? We didn't have this stuff."
Nice. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Very Bad Things?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It
that
sounds familiar, but I don't remember seeing it. I'll tell you what mine was, Poe. You talk about because I'm the youngest of three. There's three of us, me and my two brothers, and my oldest brother. He got all sorts of pissed off when I got a dirt bike, and he was like, "You never let me have a dirt bike when I was in high school. What the heck?" Well, just to put a little context in it, when I was in high school, we lived in a small town, had one paved road, 0 stoplights, and there was a lot of empty desert just about a mile from our house. When he was in high school, we lived in the center of Phoenix. So it's like, where are you going to go dirt bike riding?
Right.
So he wanted to just go ripping around in the alleys between the houses and stuff. And mom and dad wouldn't let him. But it was no fair because I was allowed to get a dirt bike when I was in high school. But I had a little remote control 3-wheeler that I had gotten I paid like $70 for it or something, which wasn't, that's a good chunk of change when you're in high school back in the 80s. And my buddy had this dirt. It was actually an enduro. It wasn't a straight dirt bike. It did have headlights, taillights, and all that stuff. I never licensed it, but my parents used to take me out where I could go riding, but it looked enough street legal that pretty soon they let me just ride from the house out there because it was just take the back roads, drives. But I traded straight across for that guy's bike because his parents wouldn't let him ride it. So it just sat in the shed. He's like, "I can't even ride it. I'll trade you for that remote control 3-wheeler." I'm like, "Okay." So
what a deal.
I traded a remote control 3-wheeler for a dirt bike, enduro bike. And so it was pretty cool. But let's say Daniel Stern from City Slickers made him think of Very Bad Things.
Oh, okay.
There's a scene where Daniel Stern gets rammed by a minivan. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be really painful. But, well, that's cool. Yeah. We'll have to, apparently Kelly likes that. So I'll have to find those movies and check them out.
I think they said, I watched a couple little like YouTube documentaries on it. And I guess there was a VHS version out in the 80s. And somebody was complaining in one of these documentaries, once they came out with the streaming versions and the DVD versions, there were some sound effects that are missing from the newer versions of The Hobbit. And so somebody made an ultimate hi-fi version that's on the internet that you can watch that has the best of both worlds, the DVD version and the VHS version that they kind of put together. So you have the sound effects, but all the clarity of the DVD version now. So you can find it on the internet somewhere to watch the whole thing of The Hobbit with everything included.
Nice. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. We just been we've been watching a lot of horror movies. I found some guy, I can't remember his name now. I found a YouTube channel, stumbled across it, and this guy is just a horror movie buff. And he does he'll do a show and say like the best vampire movies of the 80s. And then he'll do 10 vampire movies. And then, so I've been looking to see if I can find these movies. And, a lot of them I've already seen. And of course, Lost Boys was up there on his list and stuff. So a lot of them I've already seen, but he had a lot in the, and they're all kind of best mummy movies, best haunted house movies and stuff. So when I can find those, we've been watching a bunch of those. Yeah, Cobweb something or another. Yeah, I'm sure if you just search that in YouTube, Cobweb something or another, you'll find it.
I'm just as bad because there's a YouTuber that I watch now and then, and for a while I was really hooked. And he talks about like everything nostalgic that you could think of. Mm-hmm. And he's got a great channel, Galaxy something or other. I don't know. I'm bad with that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll find it and I'll put it in our Discord. Anything you can think of that you like from the 70s and 80s and even 90s, he goes into like a documentary type of thing. But the guy's hilarious too. And he talks about Rankin Bass and the history of them. And this is the history of the Ninja Turtles. This is the history of Knight Rider, and he'll go into why this and that happened. But he presents it in a funny manner. And I'll put it in the Discord because I know a lot of people. Chaos is going to love it if you haven't seen this guy yet. And his channel's been around for like 5 or 6 years. So he's got a lot of stuff to go into, and even old toys and stuff like that. So cool. I'll put it in the Discord later because I think a lot of you guys will like that. So
this guy, I have a bad habit of, I'll go through, we watch YouTube almost exclusively. If we're not watching a movie, we're watching YouTube and I'll go through my recommended feed on the television. I'm just flipping through the recommended, and then I'll stumble across this guy because I'll watch something else about horror movies. He gets recommended, and then I'll watch a few of his videos. So he shows up a bunch, and then I don't subscribe because they're just showing up anyway. So I'm just watching, and then they'll stop, and I'll be like, hey, where's that dude talking about those movies? So then I have to go hunt him down in my history. Where the hell is he? And that reminds me to subscribe. I'll get
recommended my own videos, and then I get pissed off because my videos are bad. So I'm like, why did they get recommended?
Yeah, I get that too. I get recommended, and it pisses me off because I get recommended the one, and I've already even watched it, and I'm still getting recommended my own video that I already watched. Yeah, I used to get recommended your videos, but not only did I unsub, but I blocked you. So
that's the way. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. That stopped that. And then
since I stopped making videos this past Monday, I got more subscribers than I did while I was making them. So it doesn't make any sense to me. But
yeah, and somehow because Greg went that couple weeks or whatever where he wasn't really active on YouTube, so somehow I got resubscribed to him or something because his videos started popping up again. So I'm trying to eat dinner, and all of a sudden there's a G Parker video, and I lose my appetite. And I'm like, I got to find a Mike Seaweed video because that can calm you down. But no, it's all good. But yeah, I live on that dang recommended feed, and I'll go.
Yeah, this dude, I think you guys will all like this guy, but I always forget the name of his channel. And it's like I said, once I find it, and I'm subbed to him, but when I find it, I'll end up sitting there for hours going through his backlog and just laughing and watching this stuff. I'm like, I love that show. I loved it. And I was like, well, that's a show I didn't really watch, but I'll watch it anyway. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I didn't like that show, but it was a cool history, Right. And then I'll forget about him for like a month or two, and then I'll see his channel again and you'll get lost on that channel for sure.
Excellent. Sounds good. I'm always looking for something new. But we have been watching a lot more movies again. Kelly and I used to watch movies all the time, old horror movies, classic horror movies, and B horror movies, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice. We're getting back into doing more of that. And then the freaking time change came. Now it's bright in the evening when I want to watch my horror movie. But anyway. But so that's what we've been up to. So hopefully here you'll be getting your laptop going again. Sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that enclosure on Tuesday, and then I'm dreading. Well, I'm not dreading. I'm hoping to get the thing running, but then I'm guessing everything's going to be wiped clean, so I'll have to re-download the mystery encoder thing. I guess I'll have to do another backup if I really feel like it of my arcade, which now I got a ton of games on there. Maybe I'll just at first just re-download the software so I can put more games on there, because I watched Glenn's Friday night stream. I haven't watched it for a while. I think since me and you watched the thing on the Viper board one. And he did mention towards the end of it, he said that the boomstick would be shipping in a couple days. That was Friday. Nice. He said that. So if that ships and I can't download, I can't download the gun games, what good is it? You know?
Right. Yeah.
And right now I haven't returned to work yet. So when they do have the Viper thing come out, I need to be back at work so I can order the darn thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was going to be my question with that. Are you going to, I mean, I guess you could always flash it back, but are you going to get do like I did? I had to flash my guns because it's basically a Sinden, right? The shotgun.
Yeah. I think he kind of worked with them from what it sounds like.
That's what I understood. Yeah. Are you going to flash it so you can just put some gun games on your iArcade while you wait for the Viper?
Yeah. Yes.
Because the Viper's going to run Batacera, so you'd have to flash it back to original, which is just a matter of seconds. It takes you longer to open the software than to actually do the flash on the guns. And for mine, it worked seamlessly. I did the one because, you know, it's kind of like I knew a guy who got the LASIK surgery on his eyes. I said, you getting them both done? He says, oh, no, he's doing one. And I'm going to wait, make sure that eye still works before he messes with the other one. So that's what I did with the guns. I flashed the one gun, plugged it in, and it worked, you know. So it was like, oh, no problem. So then I did the other one. It took, you know, like 20 seconds, and the whole thing was done. And so that's pretty cool. And I just got him off the PAX R Us, got me some gun games.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, I definitely want it because I can't wait to try the thing. So, and the Viper board, it just sounds like from his latest video, he just talked real quick. It sounds like the team is bringing back the newest build to him. So who knows when it's going to ship, when he's ready to ship it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I just kind of gave up on, man, when I saw the price of it and stuff, and I was like, what the heck? This was supposed to be like another $40, $50, not $100 and something. And and I got impatient, and most of the games that I was looking for, I'm able to get right now. So it's like,
how many more are there? I don't really know, you know, like that you really need. I don't need 5 billion. I've said it before though. I don't need 5 billion console games on there. Now the only thing is, there are certain older games, and I still haven't figured out how to do where they have the sound files, you know. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that on there where you...
Right. I haven't messed with it, though.
And it doesn't look like it would be that hard. I looked into it from piecing together what people said, but I wasn't able to do it with my laptop because my startup would get locked out because my laptop was messed up. So I couldn't go into admin settings on my laptop for a couple months now. So anything that I needed to do, and I'm stupid when it comes to these computer things, but the batch file thing, you had to be able to go in through admin, and I couldn't sign in as myself through my own laptop.
Oh, geez.
So I was messing around with that, and I was going to try to do some of those sound files for those older games that had them missing, and I couldn't even do that myself. So,
I haven't messed with the sound stuff. The one thing, see, because I'm like you, I don't really want to put console games on the iArcade. However, like House of the Dead, what was that, Dreamcast?
There's certain ones where the arcade ones weren't working on the arcade, but if you put on the console versions, they would work. But I'm guessing that'll change with the Viper, you know.
Yeah, the Viper you can run the Dreamcast version. You can do all that. So the light games, I was kind of looking for. I tried to run Batacera on a Raspberry Pi 3, and it couldn't handle it. So the Viper is supposed to run all that stuff. So, but other than that, Terminator 2 and what else? That one that Kelly and I played together, that worked great. What was that? Aliens. We played Aliens. Yeah. That was working great. Of course, Crossbow, and then the Western one that Mike told me to play. Those work great. Of course, those would. They're pretty low poly count games.
Right.
So most of the ones that I wanted to play, I'm able to play on there with the light guns. So it's just, put this up here. Sorry to interrupt the regularly scheduled programming, but just came up with the best name for your fans, Poe. The Posers. Yeah, so I don't know.
That has potential.
That has potential. That's brilliant. That's it. On the fly. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really find something that's like, well, you would probably find it because you'll be like, dude, I was able to put this on. I got the Viper and check out this. And I'd be like, fuck, now I do want one of these Viper things. Because as of right now, I'm pretty much able to run everything I wanted to run on that.
Yeah.
On the iArcade Direct. And
right.
So do I spend $120 or whatever it's going to be to get
that's the thing.
More games that I might want to play?
Now, he's including an amp, so is that going to make it so that the sounds are better with the speakers? I was a little confused on that. Some people had the original amp on the iArcade blow out. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. Some people have had amp problems with their.
And I did hear when we were doing the Donkey Kong Challenge a couple times, mine kind of kicked out a little bit. So I don't know if mine's going or if that was just something with Donkey Kong playing on there.
Yeah, see, I've never had an issue with the sound on mine. Yeah, that's the thing with the Viper board. It's not just getting the board that's, a Raspberry Pi kind of thing. It's got the switcher thing so you can change between them. It's got the amp. It's got all that other stuff on there. That's why it drove the cost up. But yeah, I would have to find something that would really make it stand out to be worth it. Because pretty much every game I ever wanted, I have on there.
Right now, I got a little too much on my plate with it. I am out on a medical right now. Mm-hmm. And with the boomstick, I did put that down on a payment type plan, which isn't a big payment plan, but it's still something, It's something that I have a payment coming out each month, and I'm not back to work yet. So that Viper thing, it depends on when it comes out and how long it's going to be available and what all it has to offer. I need to see something more about it before I make that decision. And like we talked about the console game thing, some of those for me were okay. Now the page is just flooded with that stuff, with things that personally I don't need. I have EverDrives for consoles and stuff. They're just throwing out a lot of Nintendo games and Genesis games that for me have no place on an arcade cabinet. Not the reason I have an arcade cabinet, but some of them are kind of neat on an arcade cabinet. I guess it's all up to the individual. But right now, everybody is just on that Discord. They're going crazy for all of these console games. That maybe it's because they loved them as a kid, and maybe they don't have a Nintendo and a Genesis and a PlayStation anymore. So they're like, oh yeah, this is great, but they don't necessarily lend themselves to arcade controls and standing up in an arcade cabinet to play them. Right. I'm not excited about most of these games. So if I did have a Viper, it would be because some of these games, I want to be able to put a lot of these old arcade games on there and not have to mess around with how do I add these sound files. Maybe that can just put the ROM right on the Viper board without having to also add this sound file and throw this and that on there. Just put the ROM on there and I'm ready to play this game without doing all the extra steps, you know.
Right. Yeah. Derek says especially not all console. Like you said, standing up, I couldn't imagine standing at a thing to play Zelda and try to go all the way through the original Legend of Zelda. But
right.
And did you see it's funny because we were talking about it. You were talking about it was Blue Shark, is that the guy's name?
About
how they're all getting there. So I said screw it, and I posted in the thing, hey, can we get a place to put they've added channels now on that.
Oh, okay.
Packs Are Us for different stuff. I suggested a main one, but last I checked, nobody's posting anything in there as far as file share stuff. So I don't know if people will end up, that's what I want. I want to say, okay, and I would love it if the file share thing was just, here's the screenshot's cool of the control deck, and say, here, Nerd Night, he brought Mr. Do. Here's Mr. Do. Here's the thing. Here's the files. And that's it. And then the next one under that is a different game, and it's files and another, instead of all the conversation that happens. But
right. Now, if you're ever not really sure, go in and do a search for the Proton pack. There's an original one. A guy named Arctic something or other. He has a little penguin as his icon. He'll add every game on there to that pack. So anything that people put in that file share, he's adding to this pack. And if there's one that's an advanced that has configs, he has that in an advanced games. But there's a basic one, advanced games, iArcade original releases. He has all these different folders in there. So he has them all there. You just got to do a little searching to find it, and you can download them individual, or you can download all of them to your computer, whatever you want to do. Right. So as people are adding them, and he'll update them too. If somebody will post one day and say, here it is. Somebody will fix it up 2 days later and say, here's one, but with a better instruction page. It'll look nicer or whatever.
Right.
And he'll update that. So I do that a good bit now and then, so that I don't have that, just generic background Galaxy instruction page or whatever. Once in a while, I'll go in and update it just so for my videos it looks a little prettier. Right. Or I'll know if it's a 4-way or an 8-way on my instruction page.
Right. Yeah, because you can tell on my iArcade, the first ones, the ones that I did, because I couldn't. It's like, oh man, let's do this, because I didn't do any of that. So it just has that generic.
Yeah, and those guys do it with Photoshop and stuff, and I don't have any of that stuff. So I know that's why a lot of times I'll request it, because I know they can make it look a lot prettier than I can. So if there's a game, I'll just say, hey, can somebody make this? If not, no big deal, and that's the best way to go about it. Because if you ask too much, then they'll say, make it yourself,
Right. Yeah, I have Photoshop. Well, I use what is that? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's a free Photoshop clone type of thing. Derek, I'm sure, will put it in the thing because he probably knows what I'm talking about. But I'm just lazy. It's much easier just to get the ones that these guys do. They do great. They do a great job. Poe, you're a Mr. Do fan. Nerds Night is asking, you guys have Mr. Do for the arcade?
Oh, definitely. They did Mr. Do, and I requested all the other Mr. Do titles. And back then, anyway, everybody was kind enough. Usually within the next day back then, especially Blue Shark, they were putting them out there. So Mr. Do, Mr. Do's Castle, Mr. Do's Wild Ride, Do Run Run, they are all in the Packs Are Us and the Proton pack. And the one for the Neo Geo that came out. So Neo Mr. Do. Yeah. All of those are there.
Yep.
And I put them all on my arcade. Love Mr. Do.
Yep. Yeah, I knew Derek would come through. Bring on the GIMP. GIMP is the name. It's a Photoshop clone. And see, in this one here, you can't see all the chats unless I throw them up, right, Poe?
No. Maybe one day when I finally get my thing run out here and I get my laptop if I ever get it running. If not, I'll just buy another laptop once I'm back at work. So.
Well, I'll throw this one up here because this is why this is one of the reasons why I figured Kelly was a keeper when I met her. Whoops, that's Derek's. Just random boobies. I have no idea what she's talking about, why she's talking about it, but
if you want to make an instruction page, have the joystick and have the buttons be boobies, I would be happy with that. There were a few kind of risque instruction pages made that I shared with you in the Gaming Road Warrior. They weren't really bad, but they were sexier than the original instructions for the games.
Yeah, Chaos. You want to get an iArcade? I think that dude still has a bunch, right? That guy, he got a bunch of brand new ones he bought the storage unit, right?
I gotta tell you, I watched a video that I don't know if you know who Scott the Waz is. I know that Gaming Road Warrior knows who he is. He's got a huge channel, and it's a funny channel, and the guy makes primo money from the YouTubes. But he did one on Arcade 1-Up and how he filled a room with them because he loved the idea of them. But this video of his was from last year. He wasn't talking about iArcade. But in his video, he was like, there really needs to be, they should have it where when you buy a Namco one, you could download more Namco games instead of buying a new Namco machine 6 months later that has one more or two more games on it. And I was just watching this video recently. Like I said, it came out last year, but I just saw it. And I'm like, he needed to get himself, an iArcade, especially now that the MIA came out, because he's talking like at first he loved these Arcade 1-Ups, but now he's ready to sell them. He has a room full of them, and he's like, why do I have all these, And it's definitely now the way to go. Hindsight, I guess. I'm glad I got it. We didn't know it was going out of business when I got it. They had this big sale for like 200, what was it? I think $250 I got mine for or something. And I just jumped on it because I was interested when you got yours. I wanted it back in the day, but I knew that, I probably would have got yelled at if I bought it whenever they were out there. So I got it, and then all of a sudden I was pissed because people were saying it's going out of business. Like, no, it's not. They're not going out of business. And then they were, yeah, we're out of business, guys. And I went the sale and hurried up and bought everything I could. But then this MIA thing came out, and that was pretty dirt cheap, really, when we bought the thing,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they had this video or these videos out how to download games, and then this Discord came out, and everybody was handing us the games and everything, and it's like, wow, we're throwing all these games on here. Glenn came out with the deck, which really wasn't all that expensive to add that deck with a trackball and spinners. This thing became everything I ever wanted, for pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, it turned into a pretty amazing machine. And there's that guy. He bought up that storage unit. It's got a bunch of them. He's selling them packaged with the MIA chip. And some of them are $350, something like that, $400, somewhere in that range, between $300 and $400, which isn't bad. That's what we were paying. They're brand new machines. No one's been posting on, I bought one of them. They're all fucked up. So it seems like it's a pretty sweet deal. But you do got to pay shipping then, unless I don't know where the guy is. If you can
he was also selling the real glass, which isn't tempered glass, right? As it was advertised, but it's real glass. I mean, I have no problem with my plexiglass that's in mine, but some people wanted the real glass. So he has that.
That was the one, because I bought mine used from a guy, and that was the only thing that was wrong with it, is there are some scuffs on the plexiglass. So when this guy was offering the glass ones, I almost bought one until I found out it's not tempered, because then they're like, you can beat that price, just go to a glass shop with the measurements, and you can just get a piece of glass, because it's not tempered glass anyway. So I figured the price he's paying, plus to get it shipped down to Texas, I'll take that piece of plexiglass to a glass shop and say, I want this.
Yeah. I have two places within a couple miles here that are glass shops that would do that if I really wanted to do that. So,
yeah. Chaos thought they were like 800. No, you can, even the people, I mean, he's selling them dirt cheap. Because there are people that are selling them you'll find them on the internet where people, I'm selling my iArcade. I have the chip and a Glenn's deck, and they are asking $800-900 for them, but you don't have to pay that.
Yeah, here's the thing, Chaos. You buy these things from this guy, and you put on every single game pretty much that Arcade 1-Up or however the place is named. You put all those same games on yours. The only thing that you don't have is 4 joystick option right now with these things. You have trackball, you have spinners.
Yeah.
So, and these guys are doing special configurations for other games. So you're playing all the classic games, and if they're not packaging them on the Discord, you do it yourself because you have the software from a custom arcade, MIA. You can put the package together yourself and push it to your iArcade yourself,
including making the config files. If you get figured out, I never figured out how to do it because I just download them. And even the lightning guns, they come with their own config file, and then you have to push that config file and make sure you click that button. There's a checkbox for light guns. You have to click that checkbox, otherwise it won't work. But and I just go through. I put 10 of them on at one time, and then I just go through the config.
Yeah.
So once you check that light gun box, it stays checked the whole time until you close it and reopen it. And then I just go to the next one, push it. Go to the next one, push it. Go to the next one, push it. So in about 10 minutes, I installed 15, 20 games.
You push it, you reboot the system, and the game is there and it's ready to go.
It's there, it's ready to go. Yeah, and I always push the game first and then do the config because then it has that reboot button.
Yeah.
And then after you push up, and you don't have to do it for each one. You can push all the games, push all the configs, and then reboot once, and then you just
and if you use that pusher, that config reboot, it's quicker than actually pushing the button and rebooting the thing
you
itself.
just click that button and it reboots really fast. And I went over it put all the light guns games in its own subcategory, so you don't even have to search through all games or put them in favorites. I don't know if you've been using your favorites, but I favorited Donkey Kong, Time Pilot,
I should have.
I think
those. I accidentally favorited one game, so there's only one in my favorites.
Yeah, I have like 15 games. I don't want to overpopulate the favorites either, though, because you run into that problem of same thing with scrolling through. You have 1,000 DVDs. It takes you 2 hours to pick one, and then you fall asleep 5 minutes into the movie. But I would want the light guns. And here's my prediction, Poe. Well, I shouldn't say this because I know how Poe is. He's going to buy the Viper eventually.
I am, because but I'm so excited about this machine, and I get excited about the stuff that Glenn comes out with this. For this
there's
stuff.
A chance. I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm thinking there's a chance that you're going to get this shotgun, the what's he call it, the boomstick, and then you're going to put on. Well, I got to test it out. So you're going to throw on a light gun game, and then you're going to, next thing you know, Poe's light gun game list is going to have like 20, and he's going to, I'm playing them, I'm having fun, and then you're going to rethink, well, what am I getting the Viper for? I already have all the games I want, all the gun games I want, but there's House of the Dead is really the only one that I can't get yet. They said in there someone was working on it, but that was a couple months ago, and it hasn't posted yet. So but other than that, most of the gun games, I don't know. I'm going to
tell you something else too. I did buy Glenn's SNK stick. That's like for Akari Warriors and stuff, where you can spin and shoot. And I still haven't built it yet. I wanted to make the video itself, but I bought it last fall when the thing came out. But the way that it is, you need to use it for something like a pie. You need to use it for something like the Viper. So it's going to be able to plug into that USB on the front of his control deck. So I kind of want the Viper for that too, so that I can play the arcade version of that game on my iArcade. Yeah,
right.
But with that stick. So I want to make a whole video where I build it, because it has all the wires and buttons included, but you build the box yourself. And he just said on there, unfortunately for me, he's doing a sale like $20 off on that thing or something, maybe $30 off. I can't remember. Right now he's doing a sale on that stick. That's not just used for that. It's used for Guerrilla War and a bunch of other SNK games too. So right now he's doing a sale on that stick. And if my boy was still going to be at home, I would have definitely bought a second stick to play Akari Warriors with him. But my boy's leaving in a few weeks, so I'm not going to buy a second stick for the. But I really look forward to using that and playing Akari Warriors and Guerrilla War the way that I used to play them in the arcade, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards the Viper, but a lot of that depends on, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. The Viper would go hand in hand with that. I didn't realize that. So yeah, that makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, I don't have a Pi, but I would get one. I mean, those aren't too bad. I'm surprised I don't have one at this point. I mean, for years people have been talking about them. I'm surprised I don't have one. I'm sure at some point, I think the Pi 5 is out now or something like that.
I think they just released the Pi 5. Yeah, Chaos said, do most people want real glass for the fact of light gun games perform better? I don't think it's necessarily directly for the light gun games. I think it's just scratch resistant compared to plexiglass. Less likely
plexiglass, a lot of it picks up, just like you said, scratches pick up a lot of the light from around you. Although when I make my videos, I turn out everything except for the ring light, my background light. I turn everything out for my videos.
Right.
But
yeah. Greg has a couple, or I think Greg has like 3 or 4 Raspberry Pis around his house. He has them for movie servers and gaming, and
right.
And that's what I used for my original main machine that I had here. My original main machine, I ran off an old PC that I had laying around, and then that died, so I replaced it with Raspberry Pi. They work great for that. If you're just going to run name stuff, Raspberry Pis work perfect for that.
Yeah, you can use them for so many things, and I really am surprised I never did get one and mess with it, because I love that kind of stuff. When I found out you could soft mod a Wii years ago, I immediately bought a Wii and did that. And next thing you know, I was the guy at the steel mill who was the man. Everybody that had a Wii was bringing them to me. And I just followed YouTube how to do it. And I was doing it for free for everybody. But then when they had problems with it, it's like, hey, I can't do this latest game on here. All of a sudden, it was my fault because I soft modded their Wiis. I needed to fix it for them and update it for them, you know. And then I got out of it after that. But once I had everything on my Wii, I had every old system you could think of on there. I never did buy a Pi because I had everything on there, you know.
Right. Yeah. I remember that soft modded the Wii thing. It was like, oh, this is so awesome compared to.
Oh yeah, I bought an external hard drive, and then I started going to Redbox and renting Wii game. I shouldn't be saying that on here. Never mind.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say something similar. The funny one for me was Phil. He's number 2. He Kelly's oldest, second of our 5. My boy's the oldest, and then Phil. He came over and he brought over. I don't remember the game. It was pretty badass Wii game, and he's like, we played it. And he goes, he was getting ready to leave. He goes, well, did you want to borrow it? And I'm like, well, hang on. And then he goes, wait, what? And I'm like, I need to borrow it.
And did you put a front end on there? They had that Wii Flow front end. That thing was so cool to me because you could download the box art for every game, and you could flip it and look at the box art and have the game right there. And my kids had so many freaking games, they didn't even play most of them. So
right, yeah. But I had friends that had Wiis, and I'd borrow their games, and there was nowhere you could rent them around us. But anyone I
I
then when
had
I knew I'd
GameFly
borrow them.
for a while, so I had GameFly and Redbox was how I was, renting games for the kids, and
Yeah, we
then the
did.
ones that I bought for them. So I had everything conveniently there.
Right.
Everything that we bought, the whole library was there.
Yeah. It was pretty neat. I'd borrow one of my buddies that I worked with. He had like, not a lot, but he had like 9 or 10 Wii games or something like that. And I'm like, hey man, can I borrow? And he goes, yeah. He didn't play very often, so he's like, well, if you don't keep them that long, I can bring. I said, no, I'll bring them back tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
And then I brought them all back the next day, and I just made a safe backup for you. I'm not playing them at all myself. I just made a backup for you, in case.
It all came about. I really wanted the PS3 because the guys at the mill were playing PS3. The guys on the same shift as me, they had them, so I got one, and it was like if we were on midnight shift, we would get off work and we would play Call of Duty and all those games early in the morning, and then I'd go to bed at noon and sleep, and then get up for work for midnight shift again. And another guy at work, he had a Wii, but he was like, "Well, you guys are playing PS3. I want that." And I'm like, "Well." That's when I heard about soft modding a Wii. I'm like, I'll buy that Wii off of you. He's like, okay, for a discounted price. I'm like, the money I was going to give him, he was going to buy a PS3 so he could play with us. And I didn't tell him what I was doing with it,
Right.
So I bought it from him that fall. Then I soft modded it, and I just put all kind of emulators on the thing and packaged it back up to give to my kids for Christmas. Well, then he found out what I did, and he's like, no fair, I want that Wii back. I'm like, too late, buddy.
Nice. Derek has a bunch of Pi 4s, he says. Media servers, home automation, arcade. I decided to use my, and maybe I need to talk to Derek about it separately because, well, I'll get off topic. I set my Pi, I wasn't using my Pi 8 for anything because now I have all the games on the arcade. I didn't need my main machine. And so I set it up as a movie server. And I can't get it to the way I had it set up. It won't push the subtitles. And Kelly and I are both getting to that point where, man, in movies, sometimes if I can, I turn the subtitles on because sometimes I just can't hear. I can't hear what they're saying anymore, especially if it's a loud scene. So, and I couldn't get it to push the damn subtitles. So I went back to, I just have an external hard drive, and I plug it into the TV direct, and I can play it off the hard drive. Then the subtitles work. And then I have to unplug it from the TV and plug it into the laptop if I want to put a movie on that hard drive. So it's kind of a pain, but I couldn't get it to work.
Hey, give me 1 second here.
All right. You guys don't have. Oh, I don't even know about that. Ow. Yeah. Sign up for a local library card, and then you go to that. You reserve a game, and as soon as it's not being borrowed, they call you. Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I'm sure we have a local library here. I don't even know. I've never been to it. Yeah. What? And we're down to one what? What are we down to? Down to one what? Kelly's talking about, I don't know how big the delay is from when. What are we down to one of, Kelly? I don't know. Oh, just me. Yeah, because every Mike didn't show, Greg left, Poe's left. I don't know. You're down to just me. I got you. I could go this way. Yeah, there's bigger me. Yeah, you can see all 3 albums now. I got the Rescuers, Grease, and Star Wars. Hang up. Here's my light switch with my light bulb. Yeah, that's fancy. I got to fix this scar on my pinball machine. Yeah, and then flipper button. turn that light off. But all right, well, we are at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Sounds like Poe's coming back. There he is.
I'm here, please, I'm here. We're down to one. When you were asking that, I had the headphones on. I'm like, down to one host, down to one person.
I didn't know. I'm reading that up above. What was she referring to? But
this Super 7. Remember him, Vincent Price?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to advertise for these guys but there's only one thing I ever bought from these guys, and that was Vincent Price here and Grayscale. And I would have liked to have bought another one just to open one up and play with them, but they were sold out. I think I bought the last one actually whenever it was on their thing, and they came out with one that was flesh tone too, but they just announced a glow in the dark one that just came out for March. Yeah, so Super 7, man, they come up on my Facebook feed all the time.
Wow.
So if you like Vincent Price and you like glow in the dark, but they have Godzilla and all kind of stuff from the old. I know Chaos likes that. Come on, Chaos. Yeah. Super 7, man.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I had a bad experience with glow in the dark. On, I thought I'd spice things up, so I got the glow in the dark condoms for our honeymoon. Thought it's a sure thing, right? It's wedding night. Nothing. All she did was make me run around with the lights off.
Wasn't that a John Ritter movie, right?
Yeah.
What was that movie? It looked like lightsabers, and there was two of them. Yeah. Him and somebody else were running around.
Right, I forget. Yeah, I forget what that was, but yeah, yeah. I need to get
rest in peace, John Ritter. Yeah, they have the glow. Again, everything comes out at the worst time because I would definitely get the glow in the dark one right now if this was the right timing. I was hoping they would come out with the black and white ones again because I would definitely have one to open up. I don't really collect toys, but I thought this was so cool when they came out. The old Vincent Price movies, man, he was awesome.
Oh yeah, skin deep. Chaos says
skin deep. Chaos, of course, Chaos knows. It had Zap right from the American Gladiator. She was in that movie.
Nice,
the big woman, man.
Right, she could whoop some ass. Yeah,
she was in. I think she was in Napoleon Dynamite too, wasn't she?
Oh, was she? Yeah, I never saw Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to see Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I've never seen it. But
you got a birthday coming up because your birthday is right between my son and my daughter's birthday. My son's birthday was yesterday, and my daughter's birthday was on the 21st. And I know you're right in between there.
Right in between there. I am the 19th.
And you were born the same year as my oldest brother, so it's easy for me to remember your birthday. Now, G. Parker's and the Gaming Road Warriors aren't as easy to remember for me, but I remember yours every year.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy in high school, his birthday is the same as your daughter's, 21st. We used to go to Vegas once around our birthday, whatever weekend was closest to our birthday. We would go up, myself and my ex and him and his wife, we would go up to Vegas for the weekend. I'd spend my $20 on gambling. I'd get a roll of quarters for the slot machines and a $10 bill I'd take to one time I went right to the roulette table, threw $10 on red. A black number came up. I'm like, well, there went that. So half of my gambling money was gone. But I'll tell you, March 19th, for Chaos Mike, all the metalheads out there, Ozzy Osbourne, of course, first guitar player when he went solo, Randy Rhoads, the late, great Randy Rhoads, died on my 13th birthday. The day I turned 13, Randy Rhoads died. Yeah. But yeah.
You always remember things like that. Now, I remember driving in my car when Kurt Cobain died. And,
really?
I just remember them saying that on the radio, and I remember where I was, and I don't know why. I did have their, CD, but, I mean, it wasn't like they were my favorite band, but it's just strange that you remember certain things like that,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they changed music quite a bit, but okay. Yeah, that's, and for a while there, when Ozzy released that tribute album, the Randy Rhoads tribute, and it has some behind the scenes stuff. It really awesome recording when he did that little classical piece D, and he's in the studio, and you'd hear him fret something wrong. He's like, "Oops," and then he starts over. And he's playing, so that's really cool. But I used to listen to that album every year on my birthday. I would listen to the Randy Rhoads tribute album. And the first time I did it, I was like, well, okay, yeah, it's the day he died. It's my birthday. So, and then it just, kind of like when you watch a movie because it's St. Patrick's Day. So you watch it, it just became that. But I haven't done that in years. I don't.
The Quiet Man, John Wayne, The Quiet. I watched that every single year since I was a wee lad. I said that before. It might seem boring to people now, but when I was a kid, I thought that movie was awesome. It was like the one John Wayne movie I had to watch every single year.
Wow. Yeah. Let's chaos. Oh, some guy on YouTube said he killed Kurt Cobain. I don't know. Well, you'll find people on YouTube that claim everything.
All kinds of stuff. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
now. What you went into the service when you went into the Navy? Was that 87?
Yes, 1987. Yeah,
the same year as my brother.
Yeah. I joined up in February. I went delayed entry, and then I graduated high school on May 29th. I remember this because May 30th, I got married. And then on June 9th, I went to boot camp.
Okay. My brother went in the summer, but I think he went in, I'd have to ask him. I thought he went in July. Now, where did you go for boot?
Orlando.
Okay. He went to Great Lakes. So.
Yeah, I went to Orlando in June. So I was there June, July, August. Lived most of my life in Arizona, and here I am in freaking Florida in the summer. Just got off the plane, thought I was going to drown just breathing. Yeah, all because of Top Gun got me. But I always tell people I graduated high school, got married the next day, went off to boot camp 10 days later, and in those 10 days, Travis was conceived. So I had a busy week right after high school.
Yeah, right. But I did the same thing. I tried to go in the fall, and I had to get a waiver from the Surgeon General of the Air Force because I had an irregular heartbeat. So I wasn't able to go in until March of the following year for the Air Force. And my wife and I, we weren't going to get married until I was out of basic and tech school. And we're like, screw it, let's get married the beginning of March. We got married the beginning of March, and I went in the end of March of that year. So we got married, and then a few weeks later, I'm in basic training and tech school and all of that. So, yeah it was a little nuts.
Well, we talked about waiting till after boot and all that, but I think it was the recruiter. He told me about, the BAQ and getting the extra money for quarters and all that. And he says that starts from day one. Even when you're in boot camp, you won't get the check in boot, but when you get out, you'll get that pay. So it was completely financial. We're like, well, fuck it then. Let's get married before I go. We'll get that extra money. And I always I planned on having children fairly early in life because, here I am. I'll be 55 on Tuesday, and my grandson. When I go to visit Travis, I can go out and play ball with my grandson. I played ball with my kids. I was still a young man. I'm out there wrestling around. But when the Derek says I'm the it is a romantic story. Hey, we'll get paid more. Let's get married. We're both bored. So I wanted to have children young, so I would be young enough to, you don't want to be Tony Randall, 80 years old, having a baby,
Tony Randall. What an obscure reference, huh?
Yeah. But
you don't want to be Robert De Niro for you young folks.
Right, for you young folks. But having said that, my ex was on birth control for like 2 years. Well, the last 2 years we were in high school because we didn't have kids that young. And, a lot of times when women are on birth control that long, it takes a while to get out of their system. She took her last birth control pill on our wedding day. I'm leaving in 10 days. So that pill wore off that day, apparently, because she got pregnant in that week, before I went after. So it's like, and then Travis he was born a month before I turned 19.
Yeah.
And then Gracie, our oldest granddaughter, was born. Travis was 20. So I was 38 when I became a grandpa. So I was still young enough. I'm still young enough I can go out and play ball. I'm just not able to outrun the kids now. If they throw me a pass, I'm not scoring a touchdown. But I was young enough and still in good enough shape that when I was coaching the kids in soccer, I would always tell the kids at the end of the soccer practice, we'd line up on the one side, we'd go sideways across the field. And I said, I'm running. Anyone that wants to race me, if you beat me, you can be done sprints. If you don't beat me, you got to do extras. We're going to do this one. Everybody has to do 10. If you beat me, you don't have to do those 10. But if you lose, you're going to have to do 20. My kids didn't race because I was still young and fast. But then eventually I tell people the last time I raced Jason, we raced sideways across a parking space in a parking lot, and he beat me. So I'm done. I can't even beat him 10 feet. I can't beat him. So, and I even tried to cheat and pull it backwards, and he still beat me. But I wasn't planning on having kids at 18 necessarily, but it all worked out.
Right.
All worked out. And now I got a granddaughter, and what the hell is that all about, So
well, that's awesome. That's awesome because we made the decision not to start a family till we came back home. But sometimes, a lot of times, I wish I had grandkids now. But at the same time, it's like my daughter started college a little bit later. My son is just now going in the military. I'm like, don't rush a family. Get your lives in order, especially in this economy. We don't get political here, but in this economy. Get your lives settled before you start a family.
Right. So, it's tough. It's tough for people, especially young people. But it was, and it's funny because a lot of the guys in the military were like, they'd give me shit like I'm 19, 20 years old, and they're like, "You're like an old man. You got a wife and a kid. We're out a bunch of Navy guys wanting to drink and stuff. You got a wife and a kid." But I'll tell you. We'd have parties. We'd throw parties I had a house. I wasn't living in the barracks, and so the party would be at our house. We'd get a keg of beer, a bunch of sailors would come over, and they would just be carrying Travis around. They're dancing with him because they're a bunch of drunk sailors. And Travis was like the life of the party with all these sailors. It's like, my buddies were buying Travis Christmas presents. They're like, I got nephews and stuff, but they're all, spread out all over the country, but so Travis was like their adopted nephew, and so
that's great.
It was pretty funny. And some of those guys were friends on Facebook still and stuff, and I'll be like, remember little Travis? Because they haven't seen him since he was 3. And I'll be like, his daughter's 15. Like, what?
Right. It is so wild to see my buddies that I was. 2 of my buddies, when I was in tech school, right after basic, their wives had babies. when we were in tech school. I remember that. And their daughters are all grown up now. It's so weird to see them on Facebook, and their grown up daughters, like this now, are like 30 years old and stuff. It's just,
right.
Wow. I remember when they were going to visit their wives in the hospital, and they were little babies that were just born. It's surreal.
Yeah. These guys, when I reconnected with them on Facebook and stuff, Travis's daughter then was just young, but still, it's like, yeah, I remember little Travis, and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to carry him around and used to do all this stuff, and his daughter is the age that he was when you knew him. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, he has a 4-year-old daughter now. Oh my God. My buddy Steve, he was the best. Travis, especially when he was little, he had really long eyelashes. And so girls would always be like, oh my gosh, his eyes are so pretty with those. Steve, my buddy Steve, he was probably my best friend in the Navy. He'd come over, we'd be hanging out. He's like, hey, can I borrow Travis? I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm just going to go in the mall and hang out. And he would just sit on a bench, and these girls would come up. Oh, he's so cute. Is this your son? Oh no, it's a buddy of mine. He had an emergency. So I told him I'd take care of the boy for him oh, you're so sweet. So he'd take my son and use him as a tool to meet chicks. But yeah, Chaos, I think you're right. They were enjoying my son and being thankful that they weren't fathers yet. It's kind of like, we say it's the cliche and the joke. Yeah, it's great being a grandpa because I can spoil the kids, get them all riled up, and then send them home. Be like, get them hopped up on sugar and then send them home to mom, or buy the most noisy, obnoxious toy for their Christmas present. But no, it's crazy. But I don't even know how we got on this subject, but
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's just buddies hanging out and talking. But we were talking about my kids' birthdays and your birthday, and it all led to the military and all of that kind of stuff, all the good stuff. So
yeah, we have speaking of the birthdays thing, it's easy for you to remember my birthday, and I should remember your kids' birthdays from now on forever. But we kind of have similar stuff with our kids, and Jason. Well, Phil, he's kind of out on his own. Jason and my dad used to have a thing where my dad's birthday, he was October 12th, and Jason is December 10th. So it's 10/12 and 12/10. But Jacob, he's Kelly's middle child. He's born December 23rd. And then, of course, Christmas is the 25th. Well, my boy Travis, he's February 23rd, and Shelby is February 25th. So we got a 23rd, 25th thing going there. So you can always keep those ones lined up. And then, Jason's kind of off on his own. And then Phil, he's way away from all the rest of them. So we just stopped telling him. It's like, yours just there's nothing related to it. So no, but he's the one that we just went up. He just got married to an awesome girl. We went up to his wedding. If you remember back in November, we went to Philip's wedding. So that's cool. And awesome girl with a couple awesome kids. So we picked up a couple grandkids that way too. So we got 6, 7, 8 grandkids now. Jesus. But they're awesome though. They're awesome. All of them. They're all awesome kids. So that's good.
Yeah, my wife and me,
11.
we're like 4 months and 7 days apart. Our birthdays, and my wife and my daughter are 4 months and 7 days apart. So that was always something that was kind of neat too.
Oh yeah, nice. Kelly says 11. Who am I missing? All right. Apparently, there's 3 other grandkids. Oh,
you got a whole Brady bunch going on.
Well, okay, yeah, I know who she's talking about but they're not married yet though, right? So that doesn't count official. But yeah, Jacob is with a girl who has some kid, but their wedding is upcoming. So I was only counting the ones that were we got 6 that are with our children directly, and then the two that Phil just married and they came into the family, and then when Jacob gets married to her, she's got 3. So that'll put us to officially 11. But yeah, they've been together for a while, so you're right. I should probably count them. That's sorry. They're not going to watch this. It's okay. But
my wife was recently telling me to have a talk with my son about be careful when you go off to basic training and off to tech school and your permanent party and with the girls you're with. I'm like, he turned 20 yesterday.
Yeah,
he knows about these things.
And if it's anything like when we went through, he's going to see some videos in the service. I don't know. Did they show you in the Air Force?
Yeah.
Did you have to watch
and I mean, the temptation is definitely going to be there. Now, when I went in, I was already married. So,
right.
But I mean, the temptation is going to be there when you're a single guy. And it happens. My nephews are, well, my one nephew, he already had his girlfriend from high school and they got married after he was in. But the other one went in, and was single. Yeah. It happens. You meet people, and that can be tough on a family. You meet somebody that's from another state, maybe clear across the country. Mm-hmm. Maybe you make a family. So who knows where you're going to end up if or after you get out. Maybe you're going to be clear across the country. So right. She wanted me to have this talk with him, and maybe that's not going to work out, but maybe you end up making a family or something with these people. But she wants me to have this talk with him, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be awkward. I talk about video games and goofy stuff with him. We've been buddies forever,
Yeah.
You want me to? Son, I know you're 20, but
yeah,
you might want to wrap it up before you do anything with any of these girls. And
right,
he don't want to talk about that stuff with me. So
yeah. Now, Jason, he got married right out of college and went in the Navy, and of course, her family's all from Arkansas. Well, her dad lives in Arkansas. Her mother passed away years ago. Her sisters, they're spread out also. Like our kids are all over the place. But Jason ended up in Seattle with the Navy. And then when he gets out of the Navy, her dad lives in Arkansas still. Travis lives in Arizona. They didn't go there. They didn't go to Arkansas. Their mother lives in the Missouri, Arkansas. They are in Florida. So it's like, you just never know, her father and Jason's mother live fairly close to each other, and they didn't end up there. They ended up there, so you just never know anyway. But
no.
Yeah, but he is going to have experiences that he's probably not used to. Yeah. So, but he's a pretty smart kid. He's a good kid. I don't think.
Yeah, he's always been a smart kid and a good kid, a great. You couldn't ask for anything more, polite kid, and everybody with the feedback we get back. He works at the deli. He followed a lot of the same path as me. Hopefully he doesn't follow all the same path as me. He works at the same grocery store chain at a deli like I did right out of high school, right?
Nice.
And he wants to he's going into the Air Force like I did. He actually thought about the Navy too, like his cousins and my brother and my dad did. But he decided on the Air Force. But I told him, don't go into the steel mill business like I did. That's something that's not going up these days. Steel mill is almost a thing of a past in the U.S., unfortunately. But I can't say enough good things about him. He's always been a polite kid, and everybody comes back to me and says, "Oh, that's your son. He's such a good guy," And so that makes me proud every day. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna miss him.
I liked him up until right before he turned 20, and he put that freaking Galaga score up. Now, so I don't.
That was so funny. He complained about my Glen board. And I don't know if you saw that in the chat. I said at the mic, we did it long after you were asleep last night. Right. He complained that button wasn't as responsive, and I had the same complaint with a few other games that I had with that board. And my connector, back when I did my install video, there was a broken piece on that connector. So sometimes I question that button too, that A button. There was a broken piece, and I just kind of fit it down in there anyway. And originally, that thing was hot glued in, my original board. And I had to take that hot glue off and then put Glenn's piece in there. So maybe there is something with that. I don't know. He said that it's more responsive on a real Galaga cabinet or a Ms. Pac-Man, what is it, class of 81 Ms. Pac-Man Galaga. And he plays on his Mini. He used to play on his Mini. He bought one of those Mini Galaga cabinets years back. And he was like, oh, it's not, I don't know. I don't know the difference, but whenever I was playing it, I was like, well, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's firing as fast. He definitely complained about it a little bit, but he still was a champ. He played last night. And,
yeah. Well, my thing with Galaga and the shooting thing is, you can only have 2 bullets on the screen at a time. So sometimes it just seems like, it's not firing because you're waiting for that bullet to hit something. So I don't know.
Well, he complained too that I didn't have a bar stool. He said I should have a bar stool so that we could sit down and play. And I'm like, well, maybe at some point I'll get one down there. I have other things to spend my money on right now, like a friggin' laptop. I need to. Yeah.
I know you said something you were teasing. I think you were teasing Derek, but I did sit down when I played Donkey Kong because sometimes that Donkey Kong game takes me a while. But Kelly got a couple stools. I didn't get any of those round arcade 1-up ones with the game logos or anything. She got a couple. They have little backs and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want is one with a back.
Yeah,
but it's gonna have to wait for a little bit. Once I get the laptop thing going, if this laptop's done, once I get back to work, I'll get another laptop, something a little better. I gotta admit, I just got something cheap just to do that iArcade backup. That's why I bought this thing. It's just something. A no-name brand. And then I started doing the OBS with it, and it was a lot better than what I was doing with my cell phone on a tripod pointed at a TV. So, it's just cheap. So,
yeah. Derek, he probably has one. He'll just send you. I'm sure he has laptops laying around.
Yeah, Derek, just send me something, okay?
Yeah.
Love you, Derek.
Yeah.
And Derek, I do have to say, we joke around all the time and stuff, but he did offer his help in a message to me. And so did Mike. Gaming Road Warrior, and Gaming Road Warrior called me yesterday a couple times, even though he had a friend over to try to help me out with this thing. And he suggested a few things. And so I'm waiting on something, an enclosure coming. That won't come till Tuesday, so hopefully I can get this thing up and running because I just want to make videos. Now that I have the time off, I have time to make videos, and if I can't, then I'm just really bored because all I'm doing right now is waiting to hear back from Aflac and doctors for appointments and stuff. So I'm sitting around really bored. What else can I do? I'd like to make videos finally now that I have time, and I could do it with my phone, but it's just not as good as when I could do it with OBS. So.
Right. Oh, talking about appointments, you'll like this story. So, of course, this is my birthday's this week, as we said, and much like Shelby's birthday, I'm going to let Shelby take me out for dinner, like I let her take me out for dinner on her birthday. But so she texted me yesterday, and she said, "Hey, are we going to El Paso this week?" And I said, I guess. I don't know. You're paying, so you tell me. But she goes, she has a cracked windshield. So she said, I'm going to set up an appointment to get my windshield replaced while we're there. I said, that's brilliant. I've been telling you for months, get your windshield fixed. So, yes. Yeah. So she texted back. She says, yeah, I got an appointment for Wednesday and 2:00 or whatever. So perfect. We can go to lunch, get some lunch, and then go get your windshield fixed. Shortly thereafter, my phone goes off, and it's one of those text messages from the VA saying, type in 47 for yes or 57 for no. Are you going to make your appointment for your blood work on Thursday. I'm like, what appointment for my blood work on Thursday?
Yeah,
I open up the VA app and I go to my appointments. Apparently on the 28th, I have a doctor's appointment. Nobody told me about. So I have to go a week ahead of time to get my blood work done. I'm like, I would have not even known if I didn't get that text.
Yeah.
Confirm that you're going to this thing. Part of me wants to call the doctor and be like, no, reschedule my appointment because you didn't tell me. Never got a phone call to set up the appointment. Never got but my doctor had retired. My regular general, whatever, my regular doctor, she retired. So I got assigned a new doctor and I never got contacted from him. So apparently they decided, well, we're just going to schedule you an appointment and not tell you. So
yeah. I get emails like that too. It's like, hey, your appointment is this date. And I'm like, really? I never put it on my calendar on my phone or my calendar in my kitchen.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was coming. And I just recently got something from the lab, 3 emails in a row. I had blood work done several times in the last few months. It's like, we're about to send you your bills. So if you don't do it online, we're going to send you paper bills for these 3 labs that you got. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see these bills when they come in the mail. So I'm like, well, I won't do them online. I'll let the paper bills come in the mail within the next 5 days and see what these things are all about. It's not, you got to love surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't even get me started. I think I told you guys we're tight on money because of my bill. We had to pay our property taxes. And for all you people that are watching and don't know, we live out here. We got 5 acres of property that we're living on and stuff. So property taxes get expensive when you're living off grid. And it was $13 for our for our property tax. So that's pretty brutal because none of our buildings are permanent structures. So I don't have to pay taxes on. It's an empty lot as far as the state's concerned. So, and they value a 5 acre lot out here. The generic, they don't ever come look at it. They just value the lot at $1,000. It's like, okay, find a 5 acre lot that you could buy for $1,000 and I'll buy it in a second. But that's what they value it at. So I pay property taxes on a $1,000 valued empty lot. It's pretty brutal. But,
nice.
But it is the downside in Arkansas. If you're you have to qualify for the VFW. So if you served and went into a war zone at all, I could register my car was $3.75 a year. So, but here it's like $80 a year. So they do get me there. So, but I was like, can I just keep my car registered in Arkansas, but pay property tax here? Will that work? But apparently that doesn't work. So anyway, man, what's our record, Poe?
We went over it, and actually my phone's probably going to die here. I'm at 16%. Once it gets there, it just drops.
Yeah. Chaos suggested before we go to make as many videos. Well, that's your plan. You want to make as many videos as possible while you're off, but your laptop
I do.
Wrestling with you.
Mike has been wanting me to do that strawberry shortcake from Parker Brothers for a while, and there's a story behind it. And I just got a notification on my phone that my battery is crap. But I do have it set up in my Atari 2600 Plus, my strawberry shortcake game, and I just need my laptop running. Or else I will set up my phone and do it old school, and just you might see reflections and stuff off the screen. So if I don't get the laptop running, that'll be the way it goes until I get back to work and get some money.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Kelly said we pay more to register the trailer here. It's like $50 a year to register my trailer. I'm gonna sell my trailer that I take my water to Travis, because in Arizona it's a one-time lifetime registration for a trailer. So I'll have him register it, and then I'll bring it back here and keep an Arizona plate on it. But that's just as legal as all the backups of the Wii games, right? So it's fine.
I do want to thank everybody for showing up. Chaos all the time. Derek, We love you. We make jokes, but we love you, man. And of course, Kelly is always here every week. And Mr. Livewire, everybody for showing up all the time. Mike's Gaming Gala, if you haven't checked out his channel, check him out. He did a video live stream yesterday where he's doing a giveaway for 2,000 subscribers. If you go to his thing and you write in the comments Star Wars, he's doing a giveaway for a homebrew game that he made for the Intellivision, I believe. It's like
nice.
it's like Space Invaders, except he put TIE fighters in there instead of the Space Invaders. So he'll do a drawing for that. And he's actually almost at 3,000 subscribers now.
Wow.
So, but yeah, if you go to his live stream, it was actually in 2 parts yesterday because his power cut out. But go in one of his streams from yesterday and write Star Wars, and he'll put you in the drawing. And in a week or 2, he's going to do that drawing, I think. So you write Star Wars, he'll put you in the drawing, and you can win it. He'll send it to you. So everybody for joining us, we appreciate you. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We're going to head out. We'll catch you on the next one. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.
Peace.